I think you said 15 wins for Viper, 10 losses against Villese.
Yeah, that's exactly
something like that, and that's actually pretty good. The series have gone 4-2 for Viper, but we were both surprised at those results.
You're keeping Viper in yellow, by the way.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
all
you
the maps
have to.
won't be this terrain. Yeah, and
you
it's
have to.
any other player. Maybe you switch him off of yellow, but not Viper.
Mm-hmm.
Berber's Byzantines, Dave. Byzantines again, a civ that could have been played anywhere. I like the choice here, and I like the choice of Berbers as well for Viper. The civilization is known for being able to spam stable units across the map in the Castle Age, and I think the Castle Age is the most important age here on Gold Rush.
What do you think the strategy needs to be from Villese? Viper, Berbers on this map is pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah.
Going into cavalry, you can react to what the Byzantines are doing, I guess, but what do you think Villese has in mind? Is it a full wall off into archers? Is he going to make more monks? Is he going to pressure forward and try and take the hill early? What's the plan?
Yeah, I mean, it could be all of the above. I do like, though, that Viper's full tournament mode here, and he'll understand that laming is allowed, so he has come forward, and he just missed out on some goats, which is unfortunate for him. But it does show how serious he's taking this today. Not that we expected anything different.
Yep.
So I've actually seen this matchup before, and one of the best games from group stage, which I encourage people to go back and rewatch, was Slam vs. Song Gold Rush, and it was Berbers versus Byzantines. There was a bunch of camels, dude. So get your camel noises ready. Like, it was cheap Byzantine camels versus cheap Berber camels, and the camel archers from the Berber player. And honestly, I feel like the Byzantine camel flood is harder to stop than the Berber camel flood. And Berbers do not get halberdier like Byzantines do.
Sorry, guys, I don't know what's going on.
I'm okay
He's
with
robot.
playing extremely defensive with Byzantines.
He's robot.
You could open up with just walls and eco if you want.
Take me to your leader.
Yeah, man, just get your stable up.
Take me to your leader. All right. Am I robotic for you, by the way?
No, am I robotic for you?
Yeah.
Okay, like right now too?
Yeah.
Give it 30 seconds, and then we could maybe do a call instead of the voice channel.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
I'm just gonna I'm gonna mute you for now, and I'm just gonna cast for my stream, and then we'll join up in like a minute or so. Okay? When it hits 6:30.
Just come back.
Yeah.
Just come back. Like, I'm not gonna change anything. Just mute yourself. Come back in a bit.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, luckily we're in the opening stages of Gold Rush, and there's not much to be done here, or to be cast.
Internet.
As we hear Tristan continue to have his issues with the robotic stuff, but here we are. And Villese is already starting to wall up here with the houses in the front. He's pushing in the deer, and Viper over on this side is going for a big wall off, and he's pushing in the ostrich and the zebra, and his base is quite nice here. He's got the wood line set up, so natural wall off in front, or he can even choose to wall like this if he gets super greedy, and he'll have the gold and the stones behind. Like Tristan said, Byzantine camels, they have the option to spam just as much as the Berbers with their cheap camels. So he said it was more threatening from Byzantines. We'll see if it pans out that way. Villese still needs to cover up that little bit if he wants his full wall off. And let's see if he's back to normal. Are you back to normal?
I'd love to hear Dave's opinion on this.
Oh,
Am I still
yeah.
there?
Yeah, you're perfect.
Oh, nice. Okay. I want to see a wolf rush. I was just saying, like, it's likely the opponent's going to be walled. Players might still want to barracks anyways. There's lots of, I guess, lions instead of wolves out there. I want to see that more frequently on this map.
I think the problem with that is like the generation of the lions, right? Because sometimes you only get the 4 on the one side, and other times you get the like 12 on the other side.
Yeah.
And it's always kind of like, where do you path your militia through? And if you don't get the requisite number of lions or wolves, or God forbid your militia dies, that is a big investment for not doing anything, right? And it's not just like a resource investment. It's like an emotional, a moral investment. Kind of like it hurts your ego, right? To just see something be thrown away that easily.
Well,
it's not good for Villese. Yeah.
No, it's not. I don't think he was expecting Viper to be this fast. 19 pop is definitely rare for the Berbers, I'd say, a civilization that doesn't have any Dark Age eco bonuses.
Is Viper
There
just
is-
gonna do this and then go for eco bonuses, or not eco bonuses, eco ups, and wall?
Yeah, I mean, he's done that so far. He delayed his barracks, right? Normally, you'd want your barracks early.
Yeah.
We do have the Spearman here for the finished player, and Viper, bit of rust, but he does know that Scout's super weak, so I know he's tempted. And yeah, this is what I meant. Like, at this point, both players are probably going to have their walls down, and both players are going to have a barracks. What else is there to do?
Yeah.
There's nothing else to do. So yeah, I would say send the Spearman out. There he goes, and maybe just send it over to Viper's
Let's go,
base
dude.
and lure them all up, and then just delete your Spearman outside Viper's berries or something.
The problem
See what
is
it
that
does.
it's going to be walled, but maybe you bring it to, I think you bring it to that wood line and then you just delete it and wait for him to overchop there. That'd be funny.
Yeah, they will have to deal with it at some point. And look at Viper. Yes. Perfect way to start the semi. Viper has the same idea. So we have the just passing Lion Rush here. Woo, woo, woo. And they're both probably not going to do damage, but they're both getting the value that they can get from their strategy. Lovely stuff.
They're such happy lines.
They are. They have a bounce. They have a pep in their step, man.
Last time I saw a lion was at N4C. Is that wall open? No, that wall's 98%
me as
complete.
well.
Yeah. Was at M4C. We went to the zoo, right? And Mista, who was one of the players there, is a farmer from Greece, a literal farmer.
Mm-hmm.
So the way he looks at animals is very different from the way we are, right? And he's just wandering around with like his hand-rolled cigarette hanging out of his mouth. And every animal we come up to, like he's looking at the lions and he's standing beside us. He's like, look at the balls. Look at the balls. Those are big balls. I'm just like, bro, what? He's looking at these lions. It's like, look at the balls. I'm like, what, bro?
Sounds like a great time.
And it was just every single animal. I don't know why these lions reminded me of that, but that, oh man, was that funny.
Well, Viper has won the Lion War. The Lions have the only kills in the game so far. Actually, do they? Yeah. Okay, they
Yeah,
didn't
they
delete
do.
them. So there's 5 lions outside Villese's walls, and then there's 3 lions outside the gate from Viper.
I like them
This
outside the
is
gate
a-
better, though.
Yeah, true.
It's the passage. If you open the gate,
I
they
can
might
agree
come
with
in.
that.
Yeah.
I don't think these lions are going to accomplish too much, but I think both players realize that, and they just wanted to do something. I also believe this will turn into that camel spam that we discussed. A Viper with his stable and his blacksmith already on the way up. He might actually be way faster to Castle Age. Like way faster, but I guess Villese is going to have wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
His eco might be a little stronger when he gets there, and also the Byzantine camels are cheaper. They're not as strong because they lack bloodlines, and I think Byzantines also lack blast furnace, yes. But I think that extra discount on Byzantine camels does make them the superior civ in Castle Age by a teensy margin.
We do have the passive eco bonus, though, from the Berbers of the villager walking speed, right? So, like, if we look at the resources collected, it should be more for Viper. It's actually more for Villese right now. Maybe Viper spent longer walling. I mean, it's not that big of a difference. You can see the live values coming in right now, and it's like 30 resources in total. And also Villese, I guess, having wheelbarrow now is going to even that out a little bit as he makes his way to Castle Age. I feel like the Byzantines, it's also way easier for them to make a transition as well because their tech tree is so open. I mean, the Berbers have a nice tech tree as well, but Byzantines can go into Halb in the late game. They can go even into a bunch of monk techs as those lions are prowling outside of Villese's base looking for something to do. Why are they moving? I don't know.
Okay, maybe they had vision on one thing, and when he placed the gate in the game's eyes that was open, so the lions tried to retarget.
Maybe.
Viper did a good thing here, though. He did snipe that weak scout from Villese, and so it's 2 scouts for Viper now, so he's got some good vision. So again, I'll just reference the game that I'd seen between Slam and Song Song, because it's the only other example of this matchup recently, and I think it was played near perfection for both. I think the key for Viper is when he wants to make a switch into something like Camel Archers, and you can tell he's thinking about it long term because his second TC is actually on the woodline and the stone. When that time comes, you need to also flood your camels, because if you just stop making camels and you don't have a meat shield, and you're trying to use castles in the middle to produce your unit, your opponent could just go like Trebs and flood, 30 camels and imp, and just if your castles are gone, you can't go camel archer. So again, the key is just control for Viper, as he actually opens with a knight here. I guess
just
the
to kill
knight
the
has
lions.
more potential to kill stuff. Yeah, like the lions.
Just to get the lions. Other lions are still waiting to get in Villese's base. He goes for 3 TC right away. Villese is already in his comfort zone right now. 1 TC on the gold, 1 TC on the stone. What's the late game potential of these two civs? It feels like it's another matchup where Byzantines probably win at the end of the day, but it's not that easy on a map like Gold Rush, right? Where you need to control all of the gold in the middle. And you know what? When we're talking about controlling a hilly area, maybe with castles or whatnot, Byzantines should probably win that too. If you're in a good economic position anyway.
I mean, I think the peak of Berbers, if this was a 40-minute no attack game, I think the peak of Berbers is slightly stronger because of
Camel
how strong
Archer,
Elite Camel Archer is. I know Byzantines have the skirms on the other side, but then you could say that, the cheap stable units in front for Berbers. But again, it's very close, and I think this is a calculated pick from both of them too, because it's strong enough civilizations to always get a win on Gold Rush, but not necessarily civs that they would need on some of the other maps for this full best of 7 here.
That was pretty sloppy from Viper. He tried to block. He tried to be too cute there, I think, with the scouts. He tried to block the camel with the 2 scouts because they were in front to get the extra damage, but you kind of need those scouts if Villese is going to go for monks. So losing that unit for free like that is not the greatest. Now Villese says, I've had enough of you lions. I'm going to kill you, and then I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to heal my units. And Viper's going to be healing his units as well. He's got 2 monks behind here. Also, no sanctity for Berbers.
Wait, they don't get it?
They don't get sanctity.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
Well, I do talk about sanctity a lot, but it's always one of those things I go and I look for it, and if I don't see it, I'm like, of course they don't get it.
I think they're like the only civ that doesn't get it.
I think Persians don't, right? Like Persians, I think, also don't get it. But yeah, that is quite rare. The thing that Viper does such a good job of, though, I mean, there's a lot he does pretty well, right? He is, probably.
Yeah, he's all right. He's
okay. Undisputed GOAT, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, apart from all that, his transitions are so good. So I'm really curious to see, as he loses his scout there, where he places that castle. Because I feel like a lot of players are going to be tempted to place the castle when it comes in the middle hill. But then it just gets trebbed down by Byzantines, and you can't make those camel archers. I think it's going to be a slow build-up for Viper. I think he'll place it on the initial hill right outside of his base.
Maybe he places it near the gold over on the left side of his base.
Yeah,
I mean, he hasn't included that as part of his wall, right? Oh, the monk is at peace with nature. Goes right past the lions.
Yeah, I guess the lions don't consider an old man an easy meal, or maybe they don't consider it worth it.
Yeah, he's probably just not tasty enough, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. He's got no meat in his bones. He's frail. Camel goes down for Viper there. Both players have monks. Both players have camels. Viper does have 3 knights, which helps with damage output against units other than the camels. Villese will loop in here. He's going to probably lose his camel, but he also has monks, and he will kill one of Viper's monks there. And conversion there for Villese. More monks dying here. Viper, I don't think it's going to be too happy with how this has gone, because he really wanted that relic. And
still only one villager on stone, by the way. Villese has 8 vills on stone. So Villese is thinking about controlling that middle area. Viper behind this, adding 2 more stables. And like you said, camel war incoming.
Yeah, Viper started with 3. Then he farmed with some of those stone miners, which is that's because he just wants better food eco. That's fine, but it's a decision that he consciously made. And now he realizes he needs more of the map. And honestly, I mean, this is getting a little dangerous. He's going to lose his monk here. And if he doesn't get more numbers out, maybe Villese chooses to go for like a castle in his face or something.
I think many other players might go for that. I don't think Villese would go for that. Also, 4 stables now from Viper. So, and he's got 5 on stone. So maybe from Viper, it's going to be instead of playing into the camel archers, like was initially thought, maybe it's going to be castle on the middle, keep spamming units in front, and then make your way towards Imperial Age and just try and secure this middle area, and then maybe make a switch into Camel Archers. But if you control the gold in the middle, you won't need the Camel Archers. You can just starve your opponent.
Well, this version of Gold Rush allows you to pretty easily place a TC on gold while your opponent has done the same.
Yep.
I do not like, however, as Villese is going to be called out, I don't like how he's made his stable next to this gold. He'll probably be fine. He's going to turn around now and see Viper's army and deal with this. But just makes it more awkward for him to take the gold, and he's going to go for the middle castle, actually.
Yep. It
All
just
right.
looks
and
so beautiful up there. It's a perfect spot right there. It's a Byzantine castle as well, which means it'll take forever to go down. And
this is why Viper's castle spot is so important, though, right? Because if he were to place this castle in a spot where this could be trebbed down early in, he might never get to those Camel Archers.
Yeah, and it feels unrealistic after a 3TC boom war with camels in front to be going imp before the Byzantines here. So you're going to have to slow push your way out there as he tries to deny the castle in the middle, and Villese with some beautiful quick walls there. Also, 3 monks converting, but the camels can get in. Villese needs one more wall segment. One more wall segment, brother. He's got more camels coming, but Viper right now is delaying this castle, killing villagers.
And Viper, probably pretty happy to kill some villagers. The first time we've really seen that today. Castle should still go up, and Viper is sacrificing a lot of camels for this.
Yeah. 3 villagers still alive from Villese, and one of them isn't building. She's scared.
Oh, and now it's Viper's turn to try and build a castle. Villese does have a lot of weak camels, but he has more of them. And so it's Viper's turn to quick wall here. Camels don't really kill villagers that quickly, so these situations are always kind of awkward to cast. And just like before, I think that Viper will end up cleaning this simply because Villese has used some of his camels against the Vills.
Yep.
But I guess it's been a somewhat even game, but I prefer Villese's position. He's got what I consider to be the better eco. He has more camel numbers right now.
The better civ
for the HP castle.
Yeah, the better civ for this type of battle too.
Yeah. And so again, Viper's civilization doesn't get halberdier. What he really is going to want is camel archers combined with his own camels, and Villese is he's going to be in the perfect situation to just deny that completely if he goes for trebuchets here.
And handcart now on the way for Villese. He's going to have a beautiful, 4 TC eco coming up soon with Byzantines. Very efficient behind this. And Viper is going up to Imperial Age now. He's still got 8 on stone, but I think the majority of his stone is probably going to be used repairing that castle because Villese is going to have that hill advantage. And I think he can sit right on the edge of his hill in the middle there and treb Viper's castle down. So this is going to be concerning for Viper because the gold is also almost in range of any units that Villese puts up there. The question for me is, do they make a tech switch here, or do you just keep going heavy into camel? Because right now, Villese is firmly dominating the camel number.
It's tough for Viper to make a tech switch. I'm not sure about light cav. That's a weird thing to see right now.
Yeah.
So maybe he's thinking about raiding the main eco of Villese. Honestly, Dave, I'm just so impressed with what Villese has done so far this game. I think he's in the perfect position. He doesn't need a tech switch because taking care of Viper's castles, he just dominates anyways with full camels. And this is what's so exciting about this semifinal, because there's not a lot of players who can be meta man, as we've been calling Villese, up against the Viper and have it make sense all the time, right? Like, normally people have to do something that's slightly outside the box. There's, of course, a couple names that we might see that are on the semis that could maybe do it. This is just clean. More eco than the Viper. Faster upgrades. And he's got 2 castles to make trebuchets right now.
You are so roboto.
Am I?
Yeah. Oh, man. Why?
Very weird.
It was perfect. It was beautiful. It was amazing. I agree with everything you said, though. I did hear what you said.
Okay, that's good.
I agree with everything.
Hopefully that resolves. We can.
Oh, you're back. You're back. You're back.
Okay.
This is so weird how it does it for like a minute, but whatever. Hopefully it doesn't do it again.
Fine.
Viper going for the second castle now. He's going to reach Imperial Age. Heavy camel coming in for Villese. Look at how many camels he has, bro. 31 camels
30
against 20 from
Viper.
Viper.
God, but his treb. Okay, maybe is this why Viper added light cav? Just to snipe trebs? Because
They're
if
quick.
he's able to take out the first treb, it could help. Okay, first little mistake possibly for Villese, but still who has the next Treb.
Like
Both
I said,
players
though,
will be on heavy
Viper
camel.
is going to spend the majority of his stone repairing that castle. And he only has so much. Like, he just ran out of stone there. He's got one more 4-tile stone pile. And he's got to repair this castle against soon-to-be 3 trebuchets sitting on this hill. And if he wants to go into trebs of his own, it's going to be really difficult for him because that castle will likely fall.
It's so tough. Like you had mentioned, maybe build your first castle further back, but then he doesn't have
that was
access
only
to this gold.
Yeah, that was only if he's going into camel archers.
Yeah,
I don't mind this castle from Viper. I just don't like the lack of camel production he had leading up to it.
Yeah, I agree. Again, it is a bit cheaper for Byzantines, but they lack bloodlines and they lack blast furnace. Viper, he has bloodlines. He could research blast furnace. That could maybe make a difference.
Maybe all
He's
thanks to
using
the
his
raid, dude.
own trebs against the trebs from Villese, but uphill. And so far, so good for the Finnish pro to try and get a fast start here in the semifinal against Viper, but he does lose the treb there.
Chemistry coming in first for Villese, too, as he dives with the camels. And he's going to take out a treb from Viper, and I think you retreat after that. Yeah, take out one treb, take down the castle. You can go towards the other castle, and now Viper is going to have to change his approach. He can't win this fight. He can't win the fight the way he's taking it with the trebs. He did take a good engagement there with the camels, but there's still camels alive here from Villese. And he's probably going to lose his castle position, so he needs to change the way that he's approaching this.
Viper did everything he could there, though. He had 2 weak camels
Viper's
that distracted
gold, bro.
about 8.
In his base.
Yeah, and he needs to keep that castle up. He is taking out the majority of the trebs. There's the raid you're talking about on the left. There's gold and stone over there. Viper's castle stands. His gold villagers are still very exposed. It is still 25 camels versus 17, though.
This feels so... If it was any other player but Viper, I would just say, like, this seems over. Because now you're fighting uphill against Byzantines, something they do so much better than you. And Villese is first to chemistry as well. So he already has bombard cannons coming out. And his camels are cheap, so he can spam them for days. And he's got all the gold access. So.
Yeah, and like if Viper were to have 30 camel archers right now, he could also go skirms, right?
Yeah.
But he realizes that's not going to be the situation here. A near perfect game for Villese so far, and I don't think Viper's made many mistakes either. I think Viper's played this maybe to the peak of his civ, but I think after that castle in the middle was able to complete for Villese, it's been smooth sailing from there.
Viper's still just
25
massing
camels versus 28 right now.
Yep. But he has to know that this isn't sustainable at all.
Yeah. He's hoping his opponent makes a mistake right now. Something you could do is you could try and raid the main base of your opponent, but that's something that will most likely be stopped because of the way the castles are positioned.
Like if
Villese, of course, his opponent will see it.
If Villese ever goes for a castle to the north, like right beside Viper's outpost, I think he can get that down, and it's cutting off all the gold there. And Viper doesn't have any siege to stop that. It's just full camel.
He also will not have a castle now, so he cannot ever dream of camel archers. He's got 0 on gold until he just finished that mining camp. So I think he's completely... Actually, no, he does still have gold on the left of his base.
Yep.
I think even with the gold, I mean, it's almost 200 population for his opponent. And we have the Halb switch now, which is perfect.
Yep. And Viper's making that castle full well knowing that as soon as Villese notices that, it's basically dead.
Yep, he's desperate now.
Yeah.
Again, he is fighting with one more upgrade because he has bloodlines. But when you've got the hill bonus involved here, I still do not prefer this fight for the Viper. Maybe a now or never engagement for him. Castle Fire will help for Villese. He's got the ballistics upgrade as well as Bodkin Arrow. Very helpful against camels. Now Halb is coming in, and this might be the first game, and it is. The Viper might have swept in the quarterfinals, but Villese shows why he's here.
Damn,
Just
dude.
textbook play the entire way through from Villese.
That's peak Villese right there. It's not pretty. Well, it is pretty in a sense. It's beautiful in a way because you know
like
how it's going to play out, and he executed really, really nicely. It's not like super original or anything, but damn is it hard to beat. Especially with a Civ matchup like that. Byzantines on the hill with the castle. I'm surprised that Viper played into that so much. I mean, he got his double castle there. There was a moment where he was teching the light cav where we thought maybe he was going to go for something a little bit different, maybe push the main base of Villese instead of that middle area. But he lost the Treb War, as you probably always are going to do against Byzantines, and there was no coming back from that.
Yeah, I think the crucial moment in this game, and we maybe didn't feel it would be the crucial moment right when we saw it because it was pretty early on, was when that castle went up in the middle. And Viper at that stage, if I recall, did have more stables than his opponent, and
Still
might have
less
even had
camels,
more
though.
camels.
I think he had
But
less
yeah,
camels.
yeah, maybe. I mean, but the idea was there to have that map control, and he just didn't quite have enough map control. I think if he has more production, then that first castle might be further back, and then Viper isn't under all this pressure. But when the Byzantines get that position and you can't go camel archers, that's exactly what's going to happen there. So a good game to start off the series.
It's funny.
Viper was outboomed and outplayed in that
the
game.
the way our community works, we're talking about Byzantines here. They've been around forever. It's been the same civ, right? But we see a few wins with Byzantines, and you know the way our community works. People are going to be not serious people, but some people are going to be calling for a nerf to Byzantines, which,
Dude,
in my opinion, is the most well-designed civ that this game has ever had, because it has not needed any changes since its inception. So it's really interesting.
It's not a civ anyone wants to play against, I'll tell you that much. But 4 years, even in Arabia tournaments, we've seen situations where people will ban the Byzantines because it's annoying to play against, but not a civilization they necessarily want to play with. But maybe that second part has changed now. Maybe that's something we're seeing more of now. Okay, so Viper's got Jungle Swamp, he's got Arabia, and he's got Arena. Fairly standard civ draft for him. He does not have Mongols for Jungle Swamp. In fact, no one does because it's been banned. But Viper, I think, is undefeated on that map.
Ooh,
and
I
he's
see
actually
the
going to go
civs.
Arabia
Yeah.
for game number 2.
Mayans against Chinese. Really mixing it up here, folks.
Yes. Let's go.
See, like,
Meta man.
See, like, from me, you know, the type of games that I enjoy, I'm like really mixing it up, you know, sarcastically. And then you, the Arabia guy, who loves to see all of like the peak meta, high level gameplay stuff, you're like, yes, let's go.
Well, the previous game was certainly a little bit more unique than this one. But now remember, like, with all the Hindustanis and Gurjaras that we've seen, even Burgundians, it's not like we've seen Chinese versus Mayans every single game on Arabia. Happy to see it here, and we have another desert terrain. Sorry for anyone that's trying to see Viper, but we will not compromise on his color.
No, sir. No, sir.
He is the Chinese here, Dave, and then we have the Mayans for Villese again, as you just said. It's like
and super
matchup we've seen
wallable
before.
maps too. Super wallable maps, like greedily wallable maps, especially Vipers, the 3 wood lines, and then Villese with the back gold and the back berries. Like, this is gonna be buckle up.
Do you remember the series between Villese and Hera, the tail end of the group stage, and it was this matchup, and Hera had Chinese?
Yes, and Hera just let Villese wall, and he played completely open FC.
Yeah, exactly. So the theme here for Villese, now obviously it works, right? He did it against MBL as well. He loves his walls, and I think if Viper doesn't try and rush down the walls too early, I think Viper will be in a better spot, because I get it, Mayan walls are cheaper, but I think Chinese can do a lot more with map control. And this will come down to scouting, I think. If Viper could see an early drush coming in, for example, if Viper knows what his opponent's plan is, I think he can easily deal with it and have more villagers working on resources as opposed to walling early. And that's where I like the Chinese a bit more here.
But Robo says that Chinese are 10-2 versus Mayans in all maps right now overall.
Interesting.
That's really surprising. He just said all maps. He didn't say it. They were actually. I don't remember them being played on other maps. Maybe
they probably were once, and that's why you had to say it that way. I think if you were to ask the majority of players which civilization they would prefer in this matchup, I think almost all of them would say the Chinese. But I do feel like you have to do more with the Chinese to have success, right? But like Mayans seem a little bit more straightforward. you're most likely walling and going archers all throughout the early game and mid game, and then maybe later you switch.
I
But
think Houseboat might be another map where we saw the
that's
matchup.
true.
Yeah, they're both
That's a
good
very
there.
good point.
Yeah.
Yep. And Viper, pretty textbook start here. Not the most perfect start ever, but normally
That's
you want
a
to have
Rhino.
25 to 30 seconds of idle time.
That's a Rhino in Viper's base that Villese sees. He has an Eagle. You're not going to steal that? You're really not. Your opponent's Chinese. You're not. Your minds. You're not going to take that. Wow.
I mean, a lot of players would have. Viper was already looping back home. He saw the Eagle, so there's a chance that Viper would have been able, especially with that wood line there, to like wall it or block it. But Viper had run forward to try and steal some sheep, and then he ran into that Eagle.
Yep.
And so he tried to lame, and then Villese thought about it, and I guess it seems like both players are going to have their resources.
2 militia. 3 militia. I love the state of our meta right now on Arabia, where it's like, how many militia?
How many?
How many? Yeah.
Imagine if we did that with scouts in like a year. It's like, how many scouts are we going to have? How many archers out of that archer range?
Yeah, does he just make the barracks? Yeah, it's going to get to the point where you just make the barracks so your opponent has the idea that you might do that, right?
Well, I think I love 2 with Mezzo because the Eagle is always stronger than the Scout. And I think the goal here is never to really kill, especially when the Chinese do have Loom already. That's part of what makes these civilizations so good playing defensively is like you can't really Dark Age rush them that well because with their builds they always have Loom. And Viper's just not even going to scout it here, and he's just going to get some walls down.
Well, I think with the wall, the wall in front is going to give him so much time. The militia are going to have to go all the way around the wood line too. And look at him. He's just kind of walling with that Vil, pulls him away, not concerned. House walling on this side with this Vil. Not concerned at all. Where is his scout? Of course, it's at the back pushing Zebra. And here come the militia. And unfortunately for Villese, this 2 militia drush is going to be even weaker because it runs into a lion, which takes off a bunch of HP. So I don't see this really accomplishing that much, especially from the side he's approaching from. There's really nothing to hit. Maybe you force 4 or 5 palisades from Viper, and that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would like to see. It's funny, Viper's just going to make the lumber camp with those villagers. Villese is going to be so
it's going to be a ghost town, bro. It's going to be a ghost town. What's going on?
Okay, you're coming back. This makes sense. Well, I would really like to see the Eagle here, but I don't really expect Villese to get damage in either way. Yeah. I also think there's just a ton of respect that goes Viper's way with his quick walling skills. He's a guy who would just fight off your drush, and if you get close to killing a Vil, he's probably going to save it anyways.
Yeah, and he's going to trap him. Yeah, I was just about to say, never put yourself in a situation like this because Viper just simply traps you. And now your drush is sitting there. It's not worth it. It would have been better for Viper for these 2 militia to run around, but it's a mental victory.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I think this is good for Villese. Look, you can take out a house now, and Viper had to spend like 60 wood, where now his barracks has been delayed. And yeah, I mean, it's getting some value. You just wanted to wall, and he's actually on his way to feudal. And oh my god, I love this build. It looks like it's just going to be 2 militia. He already has the 3rd and 4th militia on the way, and this will be man-at-arms.
This is like the classic. I see Sato do this a lot. We saw Leary do it before. Vinch does it. Yep. And they don't get value from the 2 militia drush, but the HP is still there. So they add more militia on the way up, and then they upgrade to men-at-arms. And then, of course, the follow-up to this will be an archery range. And this will be threatening for Viper. Chinese, while they're, a very, very good civ on Arabia, there's definitely windows to hit them, and this is one of those windows.
Yeah, now the key here for Viper is he wants to delay an archer follow-up, because if there's an archer there, it would pick off any repair villagers. This gate will go down fairly quick as well. So he is... Yeah. Oh, my God. Did you see that? He placed a gate foundation behind. It's like he's thinking about the potential of trapping that whole army. But yeah, Viper's scout will be patrolling in the middle of the map, Dave.
Yeah, and Villese needs to send it with a spear. He should be making a spear. Yeah. Buddy system. Buddy system. Never go out into the streets alone, all right? The streets are cold here of Arabia. It
looks very cold. Yeah, Yeah, Viper's still waiting. Villese should never send out one archer. Surely he's
No,
going to keep...
no, dude, this is such a rookie
Oh.
mistake, bro. It's such a rookie mistake from MetaMan. What's going on?
Yeah, we see this a lot. It's a great play from Viper,
Yeah.
and that's maybe the first time in the series we've seen Villese make a mistake.
And look, he
Obviously,
pulled-
game 1 was so good.
He pulled all the men-at-arms back to try and deal with that, just as a reflex, and Viper just simply house walls behind, and now Viper has archers behind his walls, so Viper's going to be fine there. Villese should have made that spear 100%. He knows better than that.
And I think, like, even if, like, at that point you see Viper has an archer, you might even know, like, I'm not going to kill Viper here, but at least I don't want to fall behind in archer numbers, so. But we are at that level where semifinals, one archer going down, and we're like, oh, it's a really big deal, so.
Yep. Well, we were talking about it, right? The win rate for Chinese against Mayans, 10-2. And it feels like the Mayans in this matchup always need to be the ones doing the early damage. And
Definitely.
that's where they can open up the window, they can, or the door or whatever it is, to potentially winning the matchup that they're so statistically bad at. And Villese needs those archers fast.
Yeah, and if he had that archer here, I mean, there's some real threat against Viper, because Fletching's already in here. The Viper did go, I don't want to say greedy, because it is something you always shoot for with the Chinese, but got his wood upgrade, and he got that farm upgrade. And so he needs to hold, and he loses
Nice
an archer
archer
here.
snipe.
And now,
Great.
this is a threat for Viper. He only has one range, which is the same for Villese. Viper's scout is not able to do anything right now. And even just pulling off the berries for an extra minute could delay your castle time, and then you could die to crossbowman in the next stage. So, sick play from Villese, despite the early hiccup there with that archer.
Yeah, this is, with these two players, these two civs on Arabia, the margins are so fine here, right? The difference between victory and defeat is going to be a couple units early, likely, what sort of momentum you have going into Castle Age, and that was a good snipe on the archer there from Viper, just like Viper's snipe on Villese's first archer was huge, as well as Viper continues to be really active with his scout behind this, checking for armies looping around from Villese, kind of distracting that eagle as well, and checking for the reinforcements, and he might be able to even pick off another archer here, Tristan, or even damage the HP, but he decides not to go for it.
Yeah, he noticed it a little late there. I like how Villese has just got the spearman there, because he knows that Viper might eventually show up. But he also wants to maintain his control on this hill, and Viper is going to finish this house now. Snipes an archer.
Oh, nice.
But again, it feels like this is going to Castle Age, but it's what type of position are you going to be in when you make it there? Both players on range units. Viper is actually on 2 ranges now. So in theory, Viper is spending a lot more wood and resources on army, whereas Villese could have a faster Castle Age. But then again, Chinese, dude. They've got so much food on those farms after Horse Scholar.
What's your preferred unit in this matchup if you're Mayans? Do you ever make that transition into Eagles now? Or do you just continue with the range?
I think you would go Eagles if Viper's on only skirms. But Crossbowmen combined with 1 stable Knights, if Viper senses that, pretty strong against early Eagle play. Takes a while to get Eagle's mass, so I think you just stay on crossbows. The archers are cheap, but both players can compete with that, right? Both players can go archer skirm. That Eagle switch becomes more deadly when we're talking Imperial Age.
Second range now from Villese, and of course, Viper, you do see that GL in front of his name. That stands for will put the market down. And he's buying wood now. Buying wood is going up the Castle Age.
How does GL... Oh, I see. You're saying that all GL players use the market. Okay,
Yes.
gotcha.
Yes.
I was like, I thought you were going to say, like, GL stands for good luck. You know, he's a very honorable guy, and I was confused there.
No.
Sick micro from Villese. It's also very important Villese does have nice micro because he was behind in range units because he was late to his second range. Gotta love how their uptimes are basically identical. What a crazy series this is going to be. These guys are so good at this game.
I'm trying to figure out a thing that GL can stand for. It's like
Good luck.
gold leakage or something. That sounds bad.
Yeah, that's a little off.
To like represent the market, you know?
Keep an eye on the skirm numbers here. Because both players have a strong answer to skirms in the long term, right? I think it would most likely be siege in the mid game, but that's a decision in and of itself. Do you want to go siege? Do you want to go ballistics? Viper's not making more skirms, which tells me, yeah, there's the stables now. So he's thinking he'll go Knights because he sees so many skirms from his opponent.
Interesting placement on those stables, eh?
Yeah, I
hate that. I hate it so much. What
yeah,
like
it's painful to be around the mill like that. But he's under pressure, right? Like he can't really. He'd have to build them in the back of his base otherwise. So I don't think he would consider that ideal.
Yeah, I think he'll probably just delete a couple of those houses on the front side. It's just it's just hard to reinforce with those. Also, it gives your opponent the option to see that right away. But I mean, it's already in Castle Age, so the Knights are going to be coming out, and the crossbow upgrade is coming in. Bodkin arrow is coming in as well, and Viper is looping around to that wood line. Meanwhile, on the other side, archers are being cleared up. Villese is controlling the middle of the map, and Viper has found himself in a pretty awkward position here, but he's going to recover in time. And the crossbow upgrade comes in, and he'll be able to micro his way out of this.
Crossbow is very cheap. And the next patch, it's actually going to see an increase. And then also, techs are cheaper with the Chinese. So Viper able to do more. And I like the stable choice. You know, you could say maybe 2 stables is a bit much, but I love how his crossbow army doesn't have to be as fearful of skirmishers now.
Yep. He's going for a university with the 15 crossbows while going into Knights. Interesting.
So that, I mean, you could do so much with this civ, but I love how, I mean, this is such a good game. Like, you're right. Like you said it in Dark Age, this gets me so excited. If Villese had his skirms out on the map, he would lose them to the Knights. So he just pulls them back in his base, and then his crossbows stay forward.
Makes the monk in defense. Can also start grabbing those relics at some point. I mean, they're kind of open, and Viper's controlling those areas. And now Villese, Mr. 3TC, Mr. Worldwide over here, Villese is going for the 3rd TC. No surprise.
Yeah, and the 2nd TC is huge here, right? Getting a castle up in defense, late Castle Age, it was a massive talking point. Viper's Knights are there. Les reacts. He shouldn't allow Viper into his base at all.
This is the most meta game I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's clean. It is clean, though. It's so clean. I love how clean it is. And let's talk about Viper now. He went 2 stables, but he doesn't have the eco to produce anymore. And he is on ballistics, while his opponent is not. So I think Villese is not expecting ballistics to be in for Viper at all. And he's delayed it himself, thinking that he could just hold with crossbows and monk against a knight play. But now he sees that, and he's probably going to be like, whoa, I need a university like really fast here.
Those knights have no upgrades, by the way. None.
Yeah. Siege will be coming out for Viper, so if this is just Archer v Archer, he's got 2 things ahead of Villese now. He's got ballistics upgrade, and then he'll also have the Siege. And Viper just moves out. Villese getting Town Watch as he's just really unsure on what Viper will do. He moves forward. He won't see anything yet. Now he sees Viper's ranged army. With the skirms, that also makes it more complicated for Viper to engage if he doesn't have the Siege. But no ballistics.
Does he have a university yet? There's the university for Villese. Still a ways away from ballistics. Mangonel gets a good shot on the skirms. Villese only losing 2, though. And now he's backing away. He does have that +2 armor, so very, very difficult for Viper to take those out with only crossbows. And Viper is taking advantage of the fact that Villese is kind of distracted and just attacking the palisade wall with the knights, trying to get in, maybe kill a villager or 2. And Villese is just noticing at the last second before these get in.
And every time he has to place a house there while he's doing everything else, he does get hit by the siege. There's been 3 volleys from Viper that have hit.
Yep.
But it still does feel like with the hill, a player of Villese's caliber shouldn't get hit again. Oh, man.
Stop saying it.
Yeah,
Stop saying it, Tristan.
I mean, this is crucial timing for Viper. He's got 2 mangonels now. Still no ballistics. And this fight for Viper, even though he's going uphill, is going splendid so far. There's not many skirmishers in the group.
No skirmishers left. Yeah, there's only 2 of them.
Ballistics is already in.
Oh boy, this is really rough for Villese, and you can see how quick this turns. And now Viper's got a fantastic position up on that hill. Monk has nothing to convert. Villese's got a mangonel, but he's shooting uphill against Viper's army. 1 mangonel against 2, and there's still the knights there to provide a little bit of a threat if that mangonel gets a little bit too far forward. Viper's going in for it, and Villese dodges around with the villager and the mangonel.
And Viper's doing the perfect thing. He has to bring repair villagers forward for the siege. Because if you're up on the hill with full HP, you cannot get one-shotted. If it's weak, you can. Now, Viper's macro, actually, Villese's macro as well. Like, if you look at their farm counts, it's extremely low as Viper gets a big shot.
Yep.
And that's why they're getting the big shots, because they're not focusing on their eco as much as you would have in a less aggressive Castle Age.
I mean, 3 villager difference here. Viper
Crazy
slow,
still. Yeah.
or faster to that second TC, but slower to the third one as Villese loses another Mangonel. Viper now going for the outpost, which helps you so much in engagements like this. You get an extra little tile of vision on the enemy Mangonels coming forward. Gives you that split second longer to react, and making another outpost over to the right side so Villese can't loop around. He'll see that Villese has created another Mangonel, and now he's taking out the production buildings, and he'll also see that castle and immediately just shifts all of his military over there, and Villese is out of position with the crossbows to defend that castle.
Viper gets hit again.
Dude.
No, he doesn't get hit. He micros away again. It very much looked like Viper wasn't paying attention there for a second. I think he used that to his advantage.
This is insane from Viper. This is just
so good.
Crazy oppressive push with a good eco behind. And Villese, I mean, he had good army numbers. He had a good composition. But Viper has just been able to do it all here, and he snipes 2 villagers. Gets hit by the first big Mangonel shot of the game against him, and that's 3 units down, but the Knights are coming in now.
I'll be very curious to see what Viper's macro looks like behind this, because you can win the game with this, but you could also just say, okay, I'm ahead now, and you could just focus a bit more.
He's almost got enough for a castle, bro, if he wants to come forward.
Yeah,
I think you got 4 Mangonels. You have this giant army of crossbows. I think it's safe to come forward with a castle on that hill.
Man, there's so much happening. Oh my god, there's so much happening. Monks were chasing Knights that have now been moved away. We got Mangonels from both players going down.
Oh my god. And the castle is still being denied. Yeah, and the crossbows, you can tell from Viper and Villese, they've just kind of put their crossbows away. Look at Villese in that wood line. He's like, I'm busy with other things. I can't.
But he's kind of, I mean, he's kind of bringing this back. Now, Viper also could imp faster and whatnot, but the castle might actually complete here. But man, this position is just so tough. And the sad thing is, really, is that Villese never wanted to make a castle here in the freaking first place. He wanted the castle where Viper's going to place the castle.
Viper just needs to make sure he has more Mangonels coming forward. And he's making another Mangonel. If he loses this Mangonel, maybe you don't go for that castle.
Yeah. I think he... Oh, my God. Man, his micro's insane right now.
Reaction times have been crazy for Viper this game. As he goes for another Mangonel snipe, doesn't quite get it. He's still trying to kill the Villese, attacking the castle. He gets another Mangonel from Villese. So frustrating for him. And there's a Mangonel coming across, and the castle is going up from Viper. This entire last couple minutes was enabled by the outposts here from Viper, keeping tabs on what Villese was doing, seeing that castle foundation coming up, and now he's winning the fight pretty firmly. Villese is just going to YOLO for that castle, still losing villagers.
Dude, this is domination, right? After losing the first game, Viper's no.
Bro, that Mangonel has 24 kills before it goes down.
That's insane. He got so much value, and he's going to be in the Imperial Age, Dave, with the forward castle, so he will be able to start trebbing that down. He's taking some of the gold from his opponent. That is that's peak Viper on Arabia right there, and I love it because the stables just completely mind-gamed his opponent, right? Like, 2 stables into ballistics is not normally a thing, and I think that's why Villese fell behind here. I would have expected more Knights there as well.
I don't know, man. I think he was even. Viper just had a better approach to that fight. Villese was in a really awkward spot with where his Mangonels were coming out from the Siege Workshop. And the presence of mind from Viper to go for those outposts, that's what basically won him that entire engagement. And Villese has the castle up, sure. He's going for plumes right now. He's got a competitive Imperial Age time, only a minute behind Viper. But the position for Viper right now is so much better than it is for Villese.
Yeah, Viper says, okay, we'll just screw archers. I'm not going to go for that. I'm going to go for Cav instead. I like that decision, actually, because Villese was pretty much wide open.
From Villese. Okay.
Okay, and that's going to take time. Yeah, I think that's the big issue here. For Viper, to be fair, though, he doesn't have a single knight as he researches Cavalier. So this is just going to be for Trebs for now.
That's the most Viper castle I've ever seen up on that hill. to the left.
Oh, yeah.
He's like level 7 elevation in the middle of nowhere. Maybe some resources nearby.
Lots of gold
Needs a
behind it,
castle.
yep.
Yeah, needs a castle.
Yeah, that's the big thing that we changed with this version compared to the Resurgence. I wanted the bigger hills on neutral resources. I think it's really nice to see players fight for that.
Yeah, especially like off to the side to see such an important area of the map that normally wouldn't be a priority is really good.
And, Viper's in the dream scenario now. He did only open with 1 trebuchet, which is kind of concerning to me. The populations are still quite close.
I think he
and his
needed the
opponent is gonna
gold
play into
for
barrack units.
upgrades. I think he prioritized the
There
cavalry upgrades, and the second treb is on the way. And Villese, I mean, this is good for Viper, just this little chip damage on the castle, because if nothing else, you're soaking up stone, and he's going to find the stone that Villese has gone out to on the left side, too. Villese tries to come in, and that castle, bro.
Perfect.
3 plumes
Perfect
dead.
Castle.
Yep.
Also, he's going to have a few more castles on hills with his stone count right now. Villese, he probably will want El Dorado if he's going to continue with Eagles. You might want to consider Pikemen as well. I think Viper chose the correct unit choice. If it's up against Eagles, Cavalier's the way to go. It only becomes a problem if Halbs does come in. But full control for the Snake.
Yep.
Still
53
mining
on
all that
farms.
gold.
He's going to be able to spam Cavalier here. And he's going for the very safe castle in the base. He saw the Eagle spam from Villese. A lot of players would have gone for another castle, maybe to secure the right side of his base or something. But Viper is putting castles near his farms. He knows that's the risk. The Eagle's getting in and raiding. He's still pushing at the front. He's going in to try and snipe that Treb. He's not going to get it. Good defense there from Villese. But the castle is about to go down.
Yeah, and I think the opening you'd want in an even game with momentum is Pikemen. You go like Halb, and then you force your opponent back into Archers, and then you go Eagles. I think using all your gold right now on Eagles is just not going to be cost effective for you, and you're not going to have the gold that Viper's mining anyways. Yeah.
Villese is just completely out of momentum here. 125 out of 110. TC went down, Castle went down, no housing space for him. The Treb is surviving only because there's so many bodies in front of it right now.
The body wall, let's go.
And now the Treb's gonna die. And Viper's just in such a great position. And it's amazing what a couple things mid-Castle Age can do for you long-term.
I know.
Like the one
so
outpost. Sick. That one outpost, I won't say it won him the game because he was already in a good position, but it pushed him towards victory faster, I would say. That was crazy.
Like, as you said, a lot of small things. I think where it all started was the fast ballistics, which I think made Villese think I can just delay mine and just add monks. Like, that's all I need. And then when that fight started, Villese was in panic mode, right? His eco was good. He was on stone before Viper to eventually get a castle. But then Viper's 3 knights start hitting the wall, and he's like, oh, I got to place a house wall. Yep. And then he places the house wall, boom, gets hit in the face in the front. And then he micros away there, and then Viper hits another area on the wall. Boom, same thing happened like 3 times. That was so sick, man. Like, you know, we have been doing this a long time, and obviously we've seen Chinese Mayans before, but like that was Viper's execution there.
Yeah, it was really good.
Just peak. You know, the only thing you're maybe missing there is maybe Viper getting relics, but I mean, with that much focus on the front, how could someone dominate that much in the front and still have that imp time? That was disgusting.
I mean, I have to say that Villese played that very well.
I would agree.
He was just against Vipers, so like, what are you gonna say, right? What are you gonna say? And Chinese go to 11-2 against Mayans, I guess, if we believe Robo and his so-called stats.
Yeah, I'll trust him. I'll trust him on that.
Look at that KD. Oh,
yeah, and that's just what I like about this, right? It's a meta Arabia matchup. Both civs have their strengths. We're not even talking like game 1. We're also like, okay, Byzantines have all these options. Both of these civs dominate Arabia, so it was just Viper outplaying. Well played from him. We have a 1-1 scoreline,
bro.
And now we'll move on to some other maps.
Look at the food collected. So close. Oh my god. And the wood too.
Oh, it is close.
Yeah, it's super close. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, just the golden stone was the big difference there, right? Yeah, really close. 2 food difference. Dang.
Yep.
That's probably not what you want, though. Like, I feel like as Mayans, you want less food,
Yeah,
and you
exactly.
want
That's what
more
I'm
you want
saying.
more gold. Yeah.
I was looking at the food collected because uh it's amazing that Villese, who wasn't floating all that much food, I guess he did have 26 pikemen queued.
Mhm.
Um, it's amazing that Villese has the same amount as Viper, who is spamming Cavalier and Light Cav right now. So
Yeah.
Viper was living on the edge in terms of his food eco, but I guess he caught up at the very end there. Really, really good
That
stuff.
that micro was so sick. That
That
was a
was
fun
awesome.
game. I was awake, but that woke me up even more right there. All right, so they were actually the first picks for both players as well, which is interesting. So we eliminate those, and we'll have fortified clearing up next from what I'm seeing. And we've seen a lot of polls on fortified clearing. We've seen Turks. Burgundians are banned. I'm honestly looking at Viper's draft, and I don't see a clear pick except maybe Cuman's actually for fortified clearing. I don't think Viper's done that before though. So that's the thing standing out for me.
Where do you use Sicilians here?
I think he might be considering it for fortified or arena maybe, or fortified clearing. But no, you have Bohemians for arena or fortified clearing. Is there ravines? There's no ravines, right? You saw that game with ACCM and Tato on ravines, right? Where with Sicilians
Oh, dude, that was one of my
and the
favorite games.
dungeons.
Yes.
Yeah,
ACCM's a beast, dude.
yeah. That has me thinking Sicilians would have been saved for that map, but we won't have that here. So
That wasn't ACCM Tato, was it? I thought it was something else, a different matchup.
no. It was ACCM Tato.
And ACCM was
I'm
playing Sicilians, right?
and Tato was Hindustanis. Yep.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's like Tato had like 70 cav archers, so we're like
Yep.
there. I'm thinking there's no way you can ever touch that, but then
Donjins.
ACCM said I'll just dungeon the whole map and raid you to death.
My favorite part of that was when he was getting his like castle denied over on the side, and he was super focused on that, and his villagers were dying. And then I look at Tato's base, and he's just at the same time he's getting a castle denied, he's just randomly dungeon rushing. It was so great.
I
It
mean,
was so great.
the flow of dungeons and sergeants together is still a little off for that civ.
Mm-hmm.
However, dungeons themselves, I think, are proving themselves to be pretty strong for map control right now. So,
Once you get all the upgrades, yep, they're pretty
oh
good.
my god, dude, I want to see.
I
If
told
anyone's
you.
gonna
I
show
told
us-
you. I told you. Well, I asked a
If-
question, but
You did, yeah, but still, you knew, but you just led me to the answer.
that's right.
Right? That's part of being a good casting pair. Is if we know something, we try and make the other person look good, right? So
It
thank
will
you for
be
that.
Sicilians, folks, for Viper, and it will be Poles for Villese.
I honestly don't. I'm trying to think about this. So I don't actually know how sergeants perform against Olbuk, but I feel like they should be pretty solid. Both civs get Arbalest. Both civs get Cavalier. I mean, the Sicilians actually have a stronger peak. It's just the same question with the Poles. How many units can they make?
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously execution too on the Relic War and
I think
whatever else.
even if they're going into a boom war, Sicilian boom is really good. Longer lasting
Yeah.
farms. You get the extra stone, so you don't have to worry about that for your 4th TC.
Mhm.
Also, your TCs go up super quick, which saves you some villager time. And it gets
Yeah.
your villagers producing faster. I think they're one of the best booming civs in the game. But we'll see if Viper chooses to go for that. He might be using them in a different sense, too. Like, he might be using that extra stone. We saw it with Nilly famously before, going for it and walling off both sides of his opponent against Poles as well.
Yeah.
So maybe you use the extra stone to do something like that instead.
I don't know. Now, this is another generation where they're a bit off center. So if they were to scout this,
Yep.
they might consider going for the outside land pressure a bit more than usual. But Viper has done that before. He did it with the Britons against Jordan in the group stage. I think he did it one other time. He actually just went for a drush and snuck a Vill and ended up working for him. I think, as we have already kind of touched on their economies and how
Mhm.
strong the Poles and Sicilians can be, you do have to play the polls in a more specific manner. And in a messy game, the polls feel worse for me because you can't place your farms as easily if you have harassment in the back of your base. So if Viper could scout this early, like he's going now, maybe to check. If he knows his opponent's close, maybe he does go into feudal age play because feudal age play against polls is not bad if you get in there and stop their flow.
Yeah, it's just how much damage can you realistically do from behind, right? Especially with the gold and stone setup that Villese currently has. I mean, if the poles are on stone to get the gold, they will have stone in the bank to go for defensive towers.
If they need to. Exactly. Yeah. And also, I'm walling real early if I'm Villese. Especially if as he sees these sheep, if he confirms that that's another chunk of wood, that's 2 houses and 2 palisades, and you're completely walled there. So, yeah, more than likely, Viper, if he doesn't scout it early, which he's not, I don't think Viper is going to end up determining to go feudal age here.
Fuck you, Riley. I made your mom
But it'll be an interesting one. We have 5 relics in the middle. We have 3 relics in the south. We have 1 relic in the north. And it's always a bit different how those relics lay out. Sometimes it's 2 and 2. Here it makes sense. There's only 1 in the north because there's less space up north. And then obviously extra golds and whatnot as well. But I hope this goes late, and I hope we see the strength of both civilizations because I honestly feel like it should be very close in the Imperial Age.
I just wonder, like, did Viper pick Sicilians for boom, or did he pick them for an earlier pressure? And right now, he's only got 3 on wood currently. He's got quite a few villagers on food, and it looks like a situation where he might be wanting to go up a little bit earlier.
Yeah, maybe. Now, both civilizations do kind of have a reason to try and rush feudal age before placing farms. Poles getting the 10% of their farm's food immediately after placing it around a full work, and then Sicilians getting... Is it 100% more food on their farms or something? Like 80%? I forget the stat, but it's a lot.
It's a lot. It's like, once you get the full upgrades on Sicilian farms, it's like 925 once you get crop rotation, which is just... I was thinking the other day, like, what if we could combine the civ bonus of Sicilians with Poles and also having, like, Chinese as as an ally or whatever, having
how much food can we get?
Yeah, you could get like 125 or so, or what? No, sorry, 1,025 on your farms, and then you get a percentage of that from the full work. Would be stupid.
Yeah, the thing that I guess we should point out though is like having more food on your farms is not a bonus that you even feel until like mid castle. Whereas with Poles, getting that little boost that benefits you early. And then, of course, it also benefits you quite nicely throughout the game as well as every farm reseeds and whatnot. So I think I would prefer the pole farm bonus for sure. But past the hour mark is where you start to actually save a lot of wood to make more production buildings because your farms aren't reseeding with the Sicilians. And I think we actually saw that in the game we mentioned. Again, highly suggest, I don't know if it's on your YouTube channel, Dave. It might be the ACCM Tato game. But it's certainly in my TTL playlist. That Sicilian late game on Ravines in the group stage was just so sick. He had like, I counted later, he had like 60 production buildings. Just
it was crazy.
So much wood.
It was crazy. I feel like I've seen dungeons more recently though. Like I was watching.
God, wait a second. Viper's going for Man-at-Arms. He's going the wrong way. He's going the wrong way.
No.
He is going to the south.
He knows, though. He knows Villese is not there. See, like, look at where his scout is. He knows. He should move. He should move. He should move. Viper. Viper.
You know, it's an off-center generation, but it feels like you should probably scout your opponent first.
Yeah, he's turning around now, but now he's come too far. Now he's come too far.
He's committed.
And Villese's scout is down there too, but Villese, I mean, at least maybe that was the idea from Viper going this way. He saw Villese's scout come this way, so it's likely going to loop up around top again. It's not going to come back, so he won't be spotted potentially.
Dang.
It is the better side to attack from, however, because the side at the top is right near the stone villagers, and it's only got 3 tiles, or more than that, maybe like Probably 8 now that I'm looking at it, but it's pretty easily defended. This is a longer wall.
Oh, God. If only he was Celts and his infantry was faster. All right, the long and lonely journey. I mean,
It's
he
fine.
could delay. At least he can get his wooden farm upgrade, because I was going to say, he could honestly delay his man-at-arm upgrade for a minute or two here.
Well, he's got the farm upgrade, and we can see the Sicilian farms as he completes this. It's going to have a lot of food, 325. And Viper check, well, he's still walking. He's still walking.
These villagers are getting their exercise, man.
Yeah, bro, cardio, man, cardio. How many steps?
I mean, listen, maybe like 1 out of every 10 generations.
Yeah.
You do have this off-center gen. You probably should scout it. Also, I think we can't really fault Viper too much for just assuming it's going to be, his opponent's going to be around to where he's arrived to now. To be honest, like, it would have been late regardless, I think, because if the generation was more centered, but
dude,
Wes is going to be like, what on earth is this? Man-at-arms at this time, 12 minutes.
And he's already in a position to almost click up. Although Villese does not have loom. Does not have loom. And if Viper goes for archers or a tower or something like that, there's a chance that Villese might lose the villagers. I think when Villese sees all these men-at-arms, I think you go for a tower here. You already have the stone.
Yeah.
You can gather more because you're going to be on that anyway to generate gold. Go for some houses, go for a tower, and you just kind of nip this right away instead of giving Viper a chance to come in here.
And Villese also might consider, because he's got a stable, let's just say, everything goes fine here. He might consider using that stable to head to Viper's base in the north. But obviously, full defense from him. Houses slowly going down. The thing that's great for Viper is this is a rushed feudal, which means he is able, as he places a donjon here, donjon hype, his farms are going to last forever now. So he actually started to place the donjon and then canceled the donjon. And now is going to mine the golds.
And Villese
now he's
didn't
going to
bite.
place the donjon again.
Yeah, he was waiting for Villese to bite with the tower, and now he's going to place it again. And Villese is making a tower. Viper is kind of through here. Villese still no loom.
Still
by
no
the
loom.
Way.
Oh my
Still
God.
no loom.
That's
And he's
so
got
risky,
a
man.
minute and 20 seconds before he can even get loom because his TC is busy with that Castle Age upgrade. But right now, I mean, Viper placing the donjon even further away, and Villese will have that defensive tower, and Viper's just going to be working away at houses.
I think Viper's placed this so he can send his archers into his donjon, shoot down the tower, and then also have a safe repairville on the other side that can't get ranged. Villese might need to consider making a knight here, Dave. And what this does is he can't get his wood upgrade, he can't get his farm upgrade, so yes, it is late for the snake. Later than he would have wanted anyways, but I still think it's pretty reasonable damage. His eco's untouched at home. Donjon goes up.
Still no loom.
Ooh, also, you can fit 10 units inside of a donjon, so you should wreck that tower.
Yep.
I forgot about that.
Viper didn't.
Yeah, Viper didn't. And here comes the army.
Villese
Still
getting
no
heavy
loom, Dave.
plow,
It's
going
not
for
a
the
queue
knight.
either.
Oh,
You
God,
gotta
yeah.
queue loom. You
Loom,
gotta
dude.
queue loom.
Loom, my
He
dude.
might
You got...
I think he forgot.
I think he did forget. Oh, no. He's going to remember as soon as one of these bills died. He's going to
defense
remember
is
real
so
quick.
Good, though.
It is.
His defense is so nice here.
And he already got heavy plow. So his full work farms are going to be giving him a nice little injection of food. And he still hasn't lost a Vill, bro. Oh, my
And now
goodness.
he gets loom.
Sick
Honestly,
from Villese.
maybe we should say that's calculated from him if he now gets
Yeah.
it, because I feel like maybe you just forget forever
Goes for the gate now.
this stage.
Goes for the stone wall. Once he gets loom, he can kind of YOLO for that siege workshop. And Viper is still working on the houses. Viper has caused a delay in Villese's
He has.
economy.
Yep.
Second wood upgrade still not in. Second TC is still not up. And Viper is thinking about advancing to Castle H himself. He's actually going for more scouts now to probably control the middle because he knows Villese will likely go for monks.
That's interesting. He also has walled because he's concerned, but adding the scouts now is not something that his opponent would expect at all.
There is 0 KD in this game so far.
I know. I just checked. I was like, wow. Been pretty good execution on both sides, but we're gonna have a Scorpion
Yep.
from Villese. I mean,
Another
Viper has
gate
also
there,
been on
and
the
you're
other
fine?
side of this so many times. Like, how many times has Viper walled out someone's pressure
Yep.
until he had a big eco lead?
And that Scorpion's just going to kill this rush
Oh,
completely.
that's perfect.
Oh, look at the way they line up. What?
It didn't fire. It didn't fire for some reason there.
Dude, what?
Dude, I'm so impressed with Villese's defense here, though.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was so amazing. He made that look so easy. And now he just drops a castle to put an end to it. Wow.
See you later, Viper. But Viper, I mean, is going to click up to Castle Age. Villese has still only been 1 TC here. And Viper's food eco is looking pretty good. I mean, he's got 15 farms behind this. He's still on stone, by the way. Maybe we'll see a forward castle from him. He's got the scouts controlling the middle of the map. He's in a position where he can control the gold from Villese on the outsides here. And maybe that's the reason Viper pushed out on this side. Look, there's 2 big gold piles here.
Yeah, that could be it. I would like to see, if you see the castles going up, I would personally like to see him just stonewall that. Just stonewall it off, and then you can keep the villagers there mining as well, and they'll be safe.
But maybe he goes for, who knows, maybe he's saving a stone for a castle over on this side. Maybe he wants to continue pushing here.
Yeah, he does have the stone. I think he's probably going to feel a need to add up the town centers. The good news about catching up with the Sicilians if you're booming is your town centers build much faster, so he should be able to catch up there. And the scouts in the middle, Les will see this. Viper's looking for the monks. Monks are just now coming out. So lots to pay attention to there. And also there's 3 relics in the south too, Dave. So that this side that Viper has had is going to end up being very important in the long term.
People bringing up a good point. He had no scouting, so my gold point is completely irrelevant. Because
yeah, but I mean, but you can work with it now. You know, you can work with it. He did have no scouting, but you still can work with it. And he also has scouted a lot of that area now, so he can see 2 of the relics. He can see the golds.
He should wall that off, though, 100%.
Yeah, I think it's too late to wall where I wanted, but he could still wall by the range at least. And then he can at least, like, rush that area later on.
Second TC for Viper immediately. 3rd town center is coming up from Villese. He's got 2 full works now with heavy plow. Still finishing the houses around his market over there. It's kind of awkward for him on that left side, but I mean, Viper won't be able to push there for a while. And Light Cav is now coming in for Viper as Villese makes his way out with that first monk. Viper should be controlling the 3 relics at the bottom, which is going to be really, really nice for him. Only 1 relic at that top side, and he's going to contest now the relics in the middle, and Viper should be in a position where he will have the relic advantage after all is said and done.
If Viper sends these villagers home without walling this, I'm going to be so annoyed. And I'd be shocked, too, because I feel like it's a very Viper thing to realize the importance of that. These 2 vills are just waltzing home right now. I mean, you could argue that it's not even worth it to run home in the first place. It might be better off just making a lumber camp with them and hiding them. But Light Cav focus in the middle for Viper. Obviously, big boom for Villese, too. He needs to catch up there. He takes this fight, but that knight in there for his opponent has really made a difference. But
So easy conversion target, though.
Yeah, it is. So Viper could heal up now. He's got this weak Light Cav.
Going for the relic in the top. I like that. Contesting in the middle, using that distraction, getting the relic in the top. And then he'll come out with a buddy system to get the relics in the middle. He's waiting with the monks. He's not sending out, even though he's got an army here, he's kind of waiting until Viper backs up or until it's safe enough to come out here.
Villese can beat Viper today. Like, this is so good from both of them. They are both playing so amazing. It feels like at times we're seeing the same player.
Viper just missed that monk at the top, man. He might catch the Vills coming for that TC, though.
Well, I think he knew the relic was there, right? So he should look.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's going to see it now.
Wall in the monk, Villese.
Well, actually, Viper, he didn't click the monk. I'm not sure what happened there. I know he's super distracted. He clicked the monk in the middle, so it makes sense. So that relic gets brought in. But villager, I mean, it's better to kill 5 villagers, I think, than it is to kill 1 monk right now. 5 vills is not bad.
Yep. Well, he's only going to kill 1 because this guy is very confused on which villager he actually wants to hit here. Nice. Don't look back. There's something back there. Okay.
Viper has recovered quite nicely here, I have to say. Obviously, that rush could have been slightly more effective had he gone to the other side. And there's the light cav, and yeah, there's Villese defending. We see husbandry now for Villese. I didn't see if Viper got that, but both players looking to dive in for these relics here in the middle. There's still 3 out there. Viper's actually got 3 monks.
Those might be the only 2 relics that Villese gets this game.
Yeah, because he can't actually go to the other side where the archers are for Viper.
Yeah.
At least, I mean, he can if he sends units, obviously.
Look at the Vil count here. We look at the resources. Villese looks like he's ready to think about Imperial Age. Viper looks like he's ready to invest that gold into something else. Both players
drop a castle.
kind of going for a castle
Mm-hmm.
right now, as Villese has 550 stone, Viper with almost 800 at the moment, but he's still just bringing in the relics. Villese did get that TC up in the north, and he's got the villagers walled in, and now it's his turn to maybe find some unit picks with that light cab, but it's only 4 HP. Viper can attack that with Vils.
You see what Viper's going for? He knows about that TC. He wants to castle drop there. Also, Viper didn't scout the other 2 relics in the middle until just now. And if his light cav aren't in the middle, maybe Villese will get those. I like that castle for Viper, though.
Yeah, I do.
Because that gives Villese an area of focus that Viper is okay with. Viper doesn't want to be pushed in the middle. He knows Poles should have that big food spike throughout Castle Age to give them the faster imp. It's an amazing area to control. And whoa, the game sense from Villese. I think
Yeah, but
he's like,
you're
"I'm
not
gonna be
Sicilians,
vulnerable
my
here."
dude. You're not
Yeah.
Sicilians, so you lose this battle. You lose this battle 9 times out of 10.
9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
I'm a lion, you're a tuna. I don't know if that's the quote you were
That's the
going
quote.
for.
That's the quote, yeah.
One of my favorite movie quotes ever.
I know, it's so good.
Fletching's also in for Viper from the earlier attack, so I don't think this castle ever goes up for Villese.
No.
Oh, man.
never.
He needs to target the Vils here. And this is so good for Viper.
So
His
good.
Vil count will increase. He could actually continue to pressure.
Yeah, I
if
think he
wants.
continues to pressure and puts a castle up on that hill right beside the gate from Villese. I
Yeah,
think that'd be
maybe.
really good. But Villese, I mean, is going Imperial Age. He did waste a considerable amount of stone on that castle, and he's going to go for another foundation over here. And Viper won't be able to see that in time to do anything about it. Viper's now up to Imperial Age himself. Has enough stone for another castle. Still questions about what he's going into. We know what Villese is going to do. He's got the privileges now. He's got the cheap knights. Viper is collecting the relics from the bottom, and he's even abandoning the position with the men-at-arms as if he wants to keep these around. Added value, I suppose. And, yeah, Viper is going to have the relic advantage, but what unit composition is it?
We might see, and we'll confirm it if he adds the 5th TC, but we might actually see Sergeant opening with the First Crusade upgrade.
Maybe.
He's
Sergeants are a
getting
good
infantry.
unit, man. They're a really, really good unit.
Yeah, I was thinking Sergeants would actually be quite good against Poles because Sergeants are very strong in melee engagements. They actually have really high Pierce armor as well, to be honest with you. But
I think they have like 4 base Pierce armor or something.
they end up having 8 with full upgrades, which is insane.
Stables for Viper at the back.
Okay, now here's the thing, though. That's going to take Viper so much time. I think he will inevitably lose the north. I would love to see stone walls. I feel like I'm repeating myself. Stone walls behind that just in case, and stone walls on the other side. You actually see a monk for Villese wandering out there, and actually monk will survive for now. Well played.
Light Cav are coming back, though, and so are the men-at-arms. Man, I'd love to see Capture Age implement like a step counter for units. So we could see
so nice.
how far they've walked, because these men-at-arms, they've been on a journey back and forth, dude. They're patrolling.
You know us, like, we'll name units, or me, I guess I name units on occasion. You know how, like, Roller Coaster Tycoon, you, like, click a random guest, and it's like, this is Wanda S. I always thought it'd be ridiculous you do that. Implement that into Capture Age. But Viper will hit Imp now. He will want his castles for the Hallberg upgrade, which will give him insane armor on his Cavalier. He's probably going to lose his position, Dave. He does convert some knights here, but Villese is
the
2 traps
problem
already.
with going Cavalier against the Polish Cavalier is you're doing the same unit. Granted, you do have the final armor upgrade over them, and you do have more Pierce armor, but you're doing the same unit for much more expensive price.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to
at
mix in
Viper's-
Halbs, and that's what he's doing right now.
I think Viper's been a little confused on how to play this, Dave. Like, look at this castle behind this. Seems like this is the hill that he wants to die on. And that might be quite literally, actually. I know he's Sicilians,
That
but
castle goes up.
Yeah, okay, he's Sicilian.
The Civ is...
But
well,
it's still like, it's a little sloppy for him, right? He could have walled it off. And now look at Villese. Villese is able to take the stone in the middle. I wouldn't surprise me at all if he tries to go for a bit of push against Viper's main eco. Obviously, the Trebs are still there for Villese as well, so he just continues to move these Trebs forward. Shout out to the crop rotation upgrade we just saw from Villese. Also attacks on the other side could start. Villese able to take the gold, the left corner, and could loop Cavalier around. Still no walls there.
Viper
if they were to loop.
Bringing the 6th relic back and that 7th relic too. With all those Cavalier over there from Villese. Viper, classic move, just kind of slowly making his way back with that final relic. So the income is going to be great long-term for him. Sicilian Farms, passive income from 7 relics. It's going to be really, really nice. The question is, can he survive to the point where it really matters?
Yeah, he doesn't have any edge over the opponent's Cavalier right now. But he did snipe the Trebs. And sniping the Trebs was massive. And yes, those stone walls. He also knows this has to happen soon. Unfortunately, that one monk... this one monk might not make it back.
Come on, man, run!
I could see Viper leaving a hole for the monk and then having a Cavalier run in. No, he will definitely be.
If I know Viper, this is the most important unit on the map for him right now. He doesn't care about the stuff nowhere. This is the most important unit. Does he delete? Oh, well, don't prove me. You proved me wrong, bro. What?
Well, Villese is looping back because he had clicked beyond the wall and the pathing will take him the other way. But he's also going for his unique unit now, and that's perfect, I think. That's something that you can do to even yourselves out with the Sicilian Cavalier.
Yep.
And especially good if you see Halberdier, which is Viper's choice now.
That's what Viper's going into right now. And Viper tried to click the monk through, and now he's going to make a gate for this guy. Really? Why not just run through with the monk? Why wait for the gate to be complete?
Well, there is a fight on the other side that I'm sure he's paying attention to. And it's not a fight that has gone too well for him. And Villese! Look at this! The blacksmith, the houses, he protects his Trebs here, Dave. I think his Trebs will survive.
Yeah, and Viper loses everything. He loses everything. He's got more halbs on the way, but remember, Obuk is coming in, and Viper calls the GG! He calls the GG with the 7th relic coming in.
Wow.
With 114 villagers, all it took was for him to see Obuk, and he called GG.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that Viper has some big problems after that play. And I feel as though Villese has a massive lead in this game. Still not liking the GG with 7 relics at 135 pop.
With gold left over, too, in your base. Yeah. Like, your main gold isn't even done.
Got barracks.
Yeah.
No, we say that, right? Like, these guys, they know when they're ahead. They know when they're behind. But disappointing timing on the GG there for Viper. And also, disappointing he did not wall the sides, Dave. I think he could have bought himself some additional time. He could have made the left side work for him a little bit more, but overall, you could also circle it back to feudal age. Tried to go for feudal age pressure, looped the wrong way around. If that pressure would have been in a bit earlier, maybe
could have gone First Crusade as well to buy him some time, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, not without a castle. That's the problem. And I think that Villese was playing everything perfectly here. He had the Obuk switch in, well timed. He actually had Cavalier heading towards the middle. I think Viper just saw the writing on the wall because he had no map control.
Yeah.
What a 6 semi we have here. Villese is, like I said, he could beat the Viper today, and Viper's playing amazing. Villese is out of his mind right now.
I feel like we all just got blue-balled there a little bit.
A little bit.
It was like this big build-up.
Yeah. We're talking about the monk on the other side.
Early GG, yeah.
But he put all of his eggs in one basket. He kept building castles in that. I guess Viper would never be able to get Elite Sergeant, and he might not be able to get Hallberg as well. But 35 units combined with whatever you can make from your stables and your barracks would always be good there, I think.
Yeah, I think Sergeant's probably a better... I don't know, man. It's tough, right? I've never seen that Civ matchup really go into late game pulls against Sicilians.
Yeah, it's tricky. But if it goes to late game, we had already said we think Sicilians might actually be the better Civ. Viper tried to get the relics to take it there, but Poles just have so many power spikes to work with. That defense from Villese was just obnoxiously calm, though. He didn't get Loom for 3 minutes. He just kept making houses and gates and siege workshops, dropped a castle, put an end to it like it was nothing. It'll be Jungle Swamp next. And alarm bells are going off in my mind because I've seen the civilization for Viper.
What?
Remember, he picked this as a home map, and then the first global ban for Villese was Mongols.
Dude, I'm getting flashbacks to that Tatar game in Red Bull against Villese. Remember when he went for 5 TC?
Yeah,
I'm getting flashbacks to that set. I mean, this Civ is a lot more aggressive than that one, but
the thing is, we know what Magyars are going to do, right? Magyars are dominant with their scouts. I love the fact that Saracens is being played here because Saracens are a freaking camel Civ. We never see it at a high level because of the way the market and the archers
can they survive,
play
though?
out.
That's the question.
I think Viper can, but it is not something we've seen before. We'll have to get Robo with his Civ stats to tell us what the situation is there with the Saracens on Jungle Swamp. I'm just going to assume that we have never seen Saracens on Jungle Swamp. And here we are, game 4, Saracens on Jungle Swamp for the Viper. Dave, this is one of those, if he loses, it looks really bad.
Yep.
If he wins, he's a genius.
Mm-hmm. He does have an interesting spawn here on this map. He's like kind of in the corner, which means that there's so many deer all around his base. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 patches, all within the same general area. If you spawn with the flat part of the map on the back of your base like Nikov did yesterday, you're probably only going to get like 3 or 4 patches. So he's got 5 right now. It's really, really nice. And Villese with the same thing.
Yeah, lots of deer.
Yep.
And we know that coming into this. I think I counted at one point. I tried to double click with capture age, but it's like so tough to double click a deer.
I've done it.
There we go.
A bunch. So it's like 15.2K or something like that. Food, 16K.
Yeah, it actually seems like this generation has brought us less because I've seen 100 deer before. It says 85 now. But fortunately, most of the deer is still around for the players. Mongols have been comment on this because of their hunt bonus. Mongols were banned out by Villese. Remember, this was Viper's home map. And so he expected that would be strong. Magyars makes sense, though. With lots of food, you can go up to feudal age. You have the cheapest scouts in the game. And then you have forging for free. So we know about that. But what about the Saracens, man?
What about them?
I don't know, but I know that Gamer Legion players and Viper in particular can use Saracens in creative ways. I do also love the Saracens for their camels, and it's sad we don't see it more frequently to get more HP on their camels. And that's even before they research Zealotry, which gives them even more HP. Saracens probably have just as many options, if not more options, than the Magyars.
It's
later
slow,
on. Yeah,
though. It's
yeah.
slow for the transitions. Fast up to Castle Age, into Crossbow, or Siege, or Monks, or something like that, because of the market, but then slow into basically everything else. Unless Viper wants to play this, scout for a scout into Camel, it's going to be an interesting transition for him in the mid game.
If this was Arabia, if this was a more closed map where you could actually wall,
it would feel much better. Yep.
Yeah, like I wouldn't mind a scout opening and then using the market to get to Castle Age faster and then adapting from there. But on a map that has been predominantly scouts, to see Civ, which is typically walls and archers, it definitely has some questions raising in my mind here. The start should be standard for Viper. He's got 3 on wood, which could be scouts. He's got plenty of food. And something else that's standard here is just, regardless of your Civ, you just never leave your base. It's just like pushing all your deer, because that is 1 or 2 more deer that you won't have to take with villagers out on their own later on.
And like I said, there's so many patches. There's less deer in general, but so many patches around the base. And it's such a good thing that Villese did ban out Mongols. Imagine Mongols on this generation of this map. They'd be even more insane.
So the set that you referenced, okay, that was what, 1.5 years, 2 years ago? For those that didn't see it, it was one of the Red Bull events, and Viper goes in as the favorite there. And he went for what I think we considered at the time off meta choices, right? And I think it's important to note that like Villese is always meta, and Viper's doing that against Villese. So like clearly, when this guy's playing meta, he can handle the best of the best, and that might be something that Viper's going to respect. I know that Viper's has that track record, but he knows these players very well, as do all the high-level guys. And I think in his mind, he might have even been thinking, I need to do something off meta today. Not just I want to.
Okay, so Villese has finally left. He's left the comfort of his own home, and he's gone up with 18 population. Did he get Loom? He did. And he's going to be exploring Viper's base. He sees the main gold forward there. He saw Viper still pushing in deer, and Viper has started the... I hesitate to say he started the wall because it's only one palisade,
Right.
but I envision there being more at some point as he goes for the barracks now, and he gets Loom, and he's going to go up 21 population. There's definitely going to be a window here for Villese to do damage.
It's all about not taking damage with your initial scouts. Viper will open with spears and adapt. He did this against Yo. He also added scouts against Yo. And I actually, upon rewatching that, when I should have been sleeping last night, I actually think that in that series, Yo just didn't expect Viper to make scouts to the numbers that he did. And he was just like, oh, Viper's going to go spear defense.
I don't know if scouts are even that great here against Magyars in particular. If you're Saracens,
maybe not.
If only, like, your scouts will lose against the Magyar scouts, but it's not only that. The Magyars a lot of the time send spearmen forward because they get forging for free, and the spearmen will add a lot, and I think it's just better for Viper to maybe play super defensive into archers, although it's saying that he hasn't gone out to gold yet.
Viper...
Please don't tell me he's just going to, like, drop a market and...
No. There's no way. This is open defensively and adapt for Viper, 100%.
Yeah.
And he's done a nice job. Like, while it looked like he was going to wall, he clearly realized the risk in that. So he hasn't tried to be overly greedy there.
I'd like to see Spearman
close eye on
forward
this scout too.
from Villese here. I'd like to see him produce Spearman. I think they would
I
add a
agree.
lot. Even just for harassing villagers. That +1 attack gives them a lot of utility.
Well, if Viper's only going to go Spearman, and you have your own Spearman to match, and you get Forging,
Yep.
and then you have the scouts as well.
Exactly.
It's like you just got more units, so that's the idea, right?
And it's not like you're lacking food. There's so many deer around here as Villese now goes for a mill kind of in between those two deer patches at the back. And there's the stable from Viper. Dude, Villese, I want Spearman, dude. I want Spearman.
He chose not to do that. Now, here's the thing I think is important for Viper. Adding your own scouts. Because if you don't, the walls that Villese is going for at home right now, that's possible. And I think currently that has not been scouted by the Finnish pro. He might just assume Viper will play spear defense and leave it at that. And I could see Viper catching him out if he goes for a counterattack. And it's not like your scouts are that useful at home right now. So I think Viper's going to move out any moment. And this is precisely the moment that he started to move out against Yo in game 1 of their quarterfinal yesterday.
And I think if you're Viper, you have to keep producing spears too. I mean, I sound like a broken record here. Spearman, Spearman, Spearman. But if your opponent is Magyars with this much food available and keeps massing scouts, there could be a time as Viper queues up another spear. I really like that. There could be a time where he has like 8 of them and they've got upgrades and suddenly you realize you are 2 or 3 spearmen short of being able to defend your eco. But right now, Viper is doing a fantastic job defending, slowly adding the walls. It's so patient from him. And he's keeping his scouts running around too.
You can see what's going through Villese's mind right now. He's like, oh, I want a wall so bad.
I want a wall.
I want to attack.
Yep.
That's good though. He does take a hit to the spearman, but he snipes the scout. If he just makes sure Viper doesn't get to the left of his base for the next 30 seconds, he should be fine and he can maybe advance forward. But Viper could be fine as well as Viper kills a scout, and this is what Viper wants. He also has the gold in the back of his base. But I just also noticed 0 farms for him. I guess, he hasn't been able to expand to as much hunt either.
There's plenty of deer still here.
Yeah, that's true. And Forging's in. Viper will take the fight anyways. I knows that there's 2 weak scouts in there. That's really heads-up play. Sometimes players in the moment will forget how much HP the enemy already
Really good
has.
defense from Viper. Pretty passive from Villese, though, to just be running around here with these scouts and runs right into the Spearman from Viper. And by the time he gets back here, Viper's going to have the ability to full wall on the left. And he goes for a market as part of the wall on the right. And now Villese can't really justify diving in here against a player with Viper's quick wall skills. I think that would be very, very risky. But Viper, I mean, where are the scouts from him? Where are the scouts? They're going forward.
If you have spear defense, I think you dive here every time. If you don't have spear defense, you need to have your scouts at home.
Bop.
Viper with a house. Okay. So this creates work for Viper. Viper's army is currently attacking houses.
And the Spearmen are coming back.
Yeah.
Magyar scouts, though, they do have foraging in Viper. Oh, man. At least one of those villagers would have gone down if he didn't go for that gate. He's trying to save them, and the Spearmen are sticking close to these villas, so Viper should be fine. Great defense from Viper. I mean, what are you going to say?
It's disgusting, but it also is work, right? And so if his opponent isn't taking any damage and doesn't have to do that, in theory, I know Viper's insanely fast, but he could be placing more farms. He could be taking more deer.
Did he just push that deer into the mill with the Spearmen at the same time? I think he did.
Yeah, I was not watching at that moment, but it looks like Viper just decides he won't do any damage. He's actually going to sell stone now as he makes another gate, and he's trying to get to Castle Age faster. Now, he hasn't mined any gold, and that could be because the
21 food, too. Damn.
Dang, that sucks. Viper's done so well here, Dave. 5-1 KD. Probably should be 7-1 in a moment. And this is against the Magyars. 600 food right now for Villese. He's not using the market, so he will not be buying and selling like the Saracens often do. But now there's got to be some questions in your mind. You know, you played the entirety of the group stage to get here, plus the round of 12.
I saw him queue up a militia, so he was at the barracks for some reason, Villese. And, okay, he's queuing up some more spearmen here. Or no, I saw Viper queue up a militia, so he was at the barracks for some odd reason.
Maybe a hotkey issue there.
Yeah, maybe.
I love Viper's eco setup, though. He's got the perfect amount on gold, and having stone to buy and sell all the time is optimal with the Saracen market for at least the first couple minutes of Castle Age. Or he could boom, right? Like, if he feels like his civilization is stronger, and he feels like he can ward off any attacks, which so far he is, he could simply just boom and get a big eco lead.
Villese is just hoping that those trees have enough wood at this point. And they
do.
They do. I can't see the second one. Okay, still 75 on that. He's got the full walls down, and they're going to be able to hold for another minute until he gets to Castle Age. Viper attacking the wall there. Villese has some more spearmen to push that back. I'm just surprised that, like... Well, I'm not surprised because it's Villese, but I felt like there was an opportunity there for him to really pressure in Feudal Age and not just run around with a group of 6 scouts with bloodlines and forging. Like, I'm talking about adding the second stable in Feudal and really pressuring, but he just kind of let Viper have his way, right? Let him defend with only spearmen and scouts and wall up, and now Viper goes for 3 TC.
Wow, super greedy here. I think the big thing you mentioned is he can apply more pressure there if he goes forward spears with the scouts. That is something he did not do, and it might not suit his style. And it's hard to knock the guy's style because he's currently 2-1 up on Viper, so clearly he's doing something right. He's going to add the monastery, and if I'm Villese, I'm expecting camels. I'm not expecting Viper to go immediately into 3 TC, so this is some mind game shenanigans from the Snake. Also,
and Viper goes for a monastery as well.
Is there a chance we see Mamelukes?
If the game goes late enough, I mean, it should be a decent option against Magyars. The problem kind of shows up with the Cav Archers. Mamluks, if they get close, they'll do a lot of damage to them. But
Yeah.
Magyar
yeah.
Cav Archers having that extra range hurts that matchup even more. But I mean, Magyar Hussar against Saracens doesn't feel great if we get super late in the game.
Yeah. By the way, I am not sure about your side, but people have been... We are pronouncing the same player different ways.
Oh, it's Villese.
And
It's supposed to be pronounced
it's
Villese.
Villese.
Okay, well... Okay.
It's okay. It's okay. I honestly, I'm going to compromise on this because I trust you. Because you did live in Finland at some point, so it's fine.
And I had this conversation with him in person.
Ah, I see.
So it's
All
Villese.
right, well, Villese it is. There we go. We're going to see more games with the guy, clearly. And we've got just the camel knight monk defense right now for Viper.
There's a very frustrated German in my chat right now.
Dude,
Nilly,
well, I brought it
Nilly's
up
like,
because
we
I
talked
was
about
gonna
this,
say-
Tristan.
Oh, I see. I gotcha. Well, I mean, come on. It's not. I don't exactly have a reputation for this. So what do you think? Tell me what you think about the approach from Viper here. So obviously, greed can help, and I think Ezekiel's going to be good. You could also make an argument that if the Knights were to get in and do damage, that maybe it could be not playing towards your strengths. But then again, literally as I'm speaking the words, it's like he's getting great value in the middle. He snipes a monk.
Oh, he's going to
He
snipe
actually could
another
snipe
monk?
Another monk.
What, did he not notice that? Oh, he just, what?
Just
huh?
passing.
Viper's going to kill the other? No, that's auto scout.
Hello?
That has to be auto scout.
I think it is auto scout.
It's auto die now. There it is. That guy.
Oh, and the thing is, he probably had no clue how epic that would have been.
Yeah, he could have sniped 2 monks there, dude.
It's not auto snipe, it's just auto scout. And Viper with the quick walls. We'll have a monk and a camel here.
Oh, this is so good from him, man.
Yeah,
and
it's
it
so
feels like
clean.
he's just kind of in this matchup here. It's a matchup on this map that Magyar shouldn't lose because they should kill Saracens early, right? That's the reason we haven't seen anyone else go for Saracens. But it kind of feels like Viper is abusing the fact that Villese is a more passive player than maybe others
and
are,
just
right?
the fact that he could just wall everything out, man. Like
Yeah.
he had a game against so many games on Jungle Swamp where he did wall. It was never with Saracens. It was always with like Mongols or Hindustanis or something. But he did a lot of this in the group stage. I just didn't expect it here in the semifinal, being down 2-1. If it works, he's a genius. And right now, it looks amazing.
And he's getting stone mining, and he's got 400 stone in the bank, man. Could we see it? Could we see the Mamluks?
I think he might do it. Now, remember, the Camels with Bloodlines have 130 HP with the Saracens. So there's a big reason to just continue to make stable units and use that castle to get Zealotry later. But
4th TC.
I think you would want to go Mamelukes possibly if the opponent starts to mix in a lot more pikemen. Yeah, 4th TC. Dang. Lots of monks for both players, though. And Viper's monks are not protected. And there's light cav in that group.
Yep. Viper is now protected by the power of camels. And he is trying to get the conversions. Villese has the light cav, like you said, but the light cav have to be wary of the camels. And oh no, this is such a complicated engagement here. And Villese is going to lose the light cav, but he might end up converting some camels. Yeah, he just got a camel. He also just got a knight. Second camel gets converted, and now Viper's monks are going to get sniped by the light cav.
Wow.
But still, I think
Interesting
Viper wins
engagement.
the engagement. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's actually as good as that engagement would ever go for Villese, right? Because he got conversions. He also killed monks. But in the end, Saracens, man, both players are going to end up trading monks. Viper's eco is stronger. And what do we see? We see barracks now for Villese as he continues to lose ground. And Saracen camels, let's go, baby. I love this play. This is so sick.
And we got the double barracks for Villese, so it's going to be pikemen.
Yeah, Viper knows, too. I mean, he can switch into ARBs, right? The safe play, as much as I'd love to see the Mamelukes, is to switch into ARBs. He's adding the ranges now, but it was really abusing the power of the Saracens with the market early, the camels in Castle H in a way that you just don't see these days.
I think it was just... Also, I think he played around his opponent really, really well.
He did.
He just knows that Villese isn't really the guy to go for the super aggression. He's not aggressive. He's Villese.
He's Villese. Yep.
That's right.
That's why we call him Villese, because we talked about this on Discord. We didn't tell our viewers, but we set that up 5 minutes ago when we talked about the pronunciation, just so that joke could be made. Right?
Sure.
Also, Cav archers, don't mind that. Don't mind that at all. It maintains that mobility. You're making a lot of mobile units as is, and I believe Saracens have almost full upgrades. I think they might miss Parthian tactics.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Yeah, you just cannot move out. And you know what sucks even more is you don't know how many pikemen you really have to make right now. Like,
exactly.
You kind of feel the need to make more, but then you want to go imp at the same time.
Once you see this Cav Archer too, it's going to get in your head. It's going to be like, oh no, Cav Archer. Now I have to make a switch into Cav Archers. Oh God. See, he's not queuing up any more pikemen. He might be adding archer ranges soon. He might be adding universities on the way to Imperial Age. It's just kind of with Magyars, you definitely want to get into the Cav Archers as your final composition. You're just wondering how long it's going to take to get there. When do you make the switch? And what is my opponent going to go into long term?
That poor monk's going to die. Viper could get the rest of the relics. Viper with a castle, protecting extra golds and stones. Viper is not up, though, but he's going for a massive boom. This is something that's going to lead towards an Imperial Age, which is obviously much stronger.
Mm-hmm. Look at how many Cav Archers he already has. That's a quick build-up. He went for 4 ranges right away. Saracen CA is really strong late game. They're not as strong as the Magyars, as we see Villese now going into archer ranges of his own. But if you have the numerical advantage, you'll be looking really, really good. And Viper now getting handcart, and he's thinking about clicking up to Imp. 3, 2, 1, bop. There we go. On the way. And now it's an expansion game. They're looking for the extra golds. Viper's got a camel scouting over to the left. They're looking to control the middle of the map. They're looking for those good castle placements. And yet another game where we go into the Imperial Age between these two guys.
This feels like a final, dude.
It
honestly.
does. Yeah.
This feels like a final. We still have another semi later on today, but this is amazing. But Viper's got full control. And the thing that sucks about Villese's position is not even the units Viper's making, is that he's going imp for very little power spike here.
Yep.
It's not going to give him an instant advantage at all. It just kind of, I think, would have kept him alive if Viper would have gone all in.
What a spot there for Viper. Those Cav Archers, what the hell?
Should have chopped these trees, fool.
What a spot. Thumbring coming in for Viper, Imperial Age on the way, and he's holding this position, which means that Villese can't do anything with his early imp. He's just going to be massing Cav Archers behind. He gets no power spike whatsoever. He does have 4 ranges, but Viper has had 4 ranges for a very long time and already has 27 Cav Archers. And now he's getting men-at-arms and supplies and squires.
Yeah, Viper, that is...
You already have an answer. You already have an answer to the Halberdier. Potentially.
I think he is not going to go that far into the tech. I mean, he's making the barracks.
He's doing it.
He has to. When he sees the Cav Archers, he's going to know that that was a mistake.
But, like, you always know it's going to be Cav Archers from Magyars, right?
Well, he didn't. He only saw 1 range.
No, but
he didn't.
What else is he going to make? You have Cav Archers of your own. You also have camels. You think your opponent's just going to go pure Halb? Like... Probably not.
It is weird to me to have the Cav Archers and then somehow like tech champion to be scared of Halb.
Now he's adding more ranges.
Yeah, he deletes some of the barracks.
He's still getting supplies, but he queued that up before.
But honestly, his eco is so good, and his late game control is so good. And not that Villese won't expand either, but I think that he is just like, if you were to ask Viper right now, hey, what are the chances you lose this game? He'd say like 5%.
Yep.
And that'd be him being humble, because he's going to really feel confident in this spot.
Villese is going to lose his Cav Archer mass here, too. This is not a good time to come forward, dude. Why are you coming forward here with these Cav Archers? Doesn't make any sense.
Well, he was an imp faster, right? Viper just...
But, like, you saw the mass.
In a while.
You saw he had ballistics, too. Bye-bye, Cav Archers.
Right side. That's actually pretty good fight there. Those knights got some same value with the extra attack coming in. They will be cleared, but that's not a big deal because he probably wasn't going to make more. I'm sure you might have known this too. Apparently, Saracens get full upgrades, They just have no like unique bonuses like the Magyars would here.
Yep.
As there is Zealotry.
And a castle in a great position from Viper. This is like open ground. There's none of this choke point nonsense. You can just push over here with bombard cannons. Chemistry is in. You've got the castle there, so ability to make trebs. Cav archers in the middle here. Going to be able to wipe up another Cav Archer army from Villese. He's got to be very careful there.
Viper's so far ahead, man.
He is.
150 villagers. And he's had those villagers for longer, too. Like, he's had the eco upgrades for longer. And he knows it. So he's not scared of the Magyar Cav Archers at all. And even if that's a worry in his mind, he's going to start to really push here on the right side. One Treb's already waiting. The other Treb's on the way. And he's going to start to push that castle there.
The problem with Saracens a lot of the times is that they have too many options, right? Like their tech tree is very expansive. Don't really have any eco bonuses outside of that market. It's hard to make the transitions, takes a lot of time, and a lot of the times you get killed in that transition period. But right now, Viper's got everything, and he's got the eco behind to support it, and Saracens become a very deadly civilization at this point in the game.
Yeah, and Villese has had to send everything towards getting maxed out on Cav Archers. Viper's been maxed out. He can send in other things. As we have this Treb war start, neither player really has a tool to snipe the Trebs, which will make it interesting. But Viper's got 15 on stone with 1,200 stone in the bank, and he's getting hoardings. So I would give him the edge right now.
I'm surprised Viper didn't make a Siege Workshop over here. He has chemistry already.
I think he's so confident that with Zealotry, which he's just researched, he wants to dive the Trebs with
Maybe
heavy camels.
He could go Siege Ram too. I mean, Magyars have Magyar Hussar to counter that, but none of those on the field yet.
I don't know if Viper lost villagers or if he just deleted them. I'm guessing he deleted some because he was pop capped, and he's had quite a few here. He's actually using his Trebs against his opponent's Trebs right now, which is interesting because he's in the offensive position, but look at the light cap patrolling on the front, no attack stance, by the way. Dodging any shot you can get.
Yep. Well,
probably
dying to every shot now.
But yeah, I was going to say the recurve bow Cav Archers. This is why Viper needs to finish this guy off fast, because recurve bow is no joke.
Yep.
Dang.
Also, Viper has 142 vills. Villese now at 141, so that's only enough space for 50 military here from Villese. But Villese's military with recurve bow is better than Viper's Cav Archers.
No
and Viper
way
is now switching into skirms, and this is the power of Magyars.
No way. And Dave, he's got the castles now too. He got Corvinian army, so now his Magyar Hussars will cost no gold out of his castles. Wow. I thought Viper was going to win this in early in, man. I honestly did.
These Cav Archers are insane. And he hasn't lost the game, to be fair. Like, he still has a good eco behind this. Very nice tech tree for Viper. It's just going to be a task to beat these Cav Archers. 60 kills already on these units.
I think he tried to do too much, right? Supplies was an obvious example in the barracks, but fighting with light cav and camels before the final armor upgrade, that's something he'll regret, and he will likely lose this castle. So this reminds me of the previous game, actually, where he says, no, like, this is my area, and I'm going to double commit to an area I'm already losing. This could be really bad for him. Again, Magyar Hussar is probably my favorite unique unit in the game. It looks so cool.
It does look dope.
It's super effective in this situation, especially if Viper ever adds Siege. Wow, what a game. What a series. Again, this feels like a final right now.
Viper going into skirm is not a good sign.
It's not at all.
No.
No, because the best, we said it before, but I feel like the best composition for Saracens probably has to be double gold unit, like camels and something else. For Magyars, he's already there. Heavy Cav Archer with recurve bow, +1 range and +1 attack. And the Magyar Hussar. And Elite is coming in. He's got 3 castles to spam these things from.
87 kills on this group of 45 Cav Archers.
Also, the KD did not look good for Villese in the mid game. And now it's incredible as Viper loses another castle. Also, we see some raids start to begin on the left side.
It's not really much gold or stone over here on the left. There's like one neutral that Villese is taking. And then there's that stone up at the top that Viper is currently taking. Viper
do have 170 HP.
Yeah, they do.
This army's now really strong.
Yeah, and Viper had maybe too many villagers in that initial engagement. Didn't have enough military numbers to compensate for the better technologies from the Magyars here. But with the camels in front, they're going to start distracting the cav archers, and he still has the cav archers and skirms behind to take those out one by one. Villese is still trying to go for raids here with the Magyar Hussars. Viper has a gold pile left in his base. He's got a couple gold piles, I think, left around his economy.
It's also harder for... I mean, raids are going to be tough for both players with the way they've set up their bases, but I think it is a little harder for Villese to raid Viper just because Viper can mix in a camel or two. But then again, do you really want to use your gold units to react all the time? Probably not.
Yeah. Viper is really good in these late game scenarios where you need to save gold. I'm actually surprised that he's at the limit right now, because usually in a game like this where he suspects it's going late, you'll see him floating like 2k gold and not spending it, right? It's a very Viper thing to see, but I guess he feels like he needs to use it, and it's Villese that's actually floating gold.
Guys, Viper just dominated everyone in the group stage. He then 3-0'd Yo, and Viper would have killed the majority of players in the world by now. He had such a window. And he's playing to his max. He was playing. I mean, he had everything, right? 3 relics, full map control, castles on the right, castles on the left. This guy has brought it back.
And now he's got the best trash unit in the game, the elite Magyar Hussar,
and 4 castles,
and the best cav archers in the game. One of the best death ball units you can get in Age of Empires 2. Viper is still chasing after that with the camels.
This could be a wood game on Jungle Swamp. It's a crazy statement. There is still obviously lots of gold and stone to fight for. Actually, I say lots. There's not a lot.
We have 2 more best of 7s today, by the way, chat.
Yeah. This will be a day for sure.
It'll be a day.
Magyar Hussar clearing up the skirms. It's about pop efficiency, right? And if you've got pikemen and skirms mixed into your population, that is not going to be very efficient.
Look at the gold supply for Villese. He can replicate this cav archer army again once he loses it, if he loses it.
Viper's pop is not looking good. His position's looking worse.
Yep.
His opponent's making trebs. He's got 3 trebs, and he's definitely waiting to push the left side. Viper might be doomed here. This game might not go on much longer here.
No, he's dead, I think. Which is amazing, because he had such a good position. People were saying in my chat, they were laughing at your 5% that you tossed out there earlier.
5%, right? But seriously, at that stage, he's imp 3 minutes faster, heavy cav archers, opponents falling back, no army.
Yep.
Jeez. And now siege engineers, it's something I love about this player as well. Is always getting the techs. The monk techs, the university techs. And he's also not waiting with the trebuchets.
For Viper.
3 trebuchets.
That's a really good clear up for him on the right, though.
Viper's got his death ball, though, in the corner, right? I think this is why the trebs are able to move forward with confidence on the left side, and it's Viper reacting. And if he were to lose this castle, all of his base is exposed. Like, Hussar raids would end him, no problem. Even if camels are in his own base, he needs that castle fire like his opponent has.
Villese getting into the base of Viper with some more Magyar Hussar. Camels are going to go deal with that. Viper is coming back with this army. The castle will fall, I think, here. He's trying to snipe the treb, so maybe the castle doesn't go down. 1 treb dies, 2nd treb dies. Castle still being repaired, but it's going to die. Oh, barely holds on.
The repair villagers are getting sniped. That was a good play there. The castle will fall. Viper also getting a raid, but the quick wall is in the back. There's still a hole, but he plugs it with the house. What is happening, man?
Very, very
nice. This guy's
nice.
playing out of his mind right now.
And Villese
does have to back away in the middle, though.
Yeah, he does have to back away. The camels are tanky, and the camels, if they ever engage with the cav archers, are doing a lot of damage. Viper's coming from behind with Hussar. He's trying to block off this army, but Villese manages to weasel away as Viper continues to try and flank.
And he's got castles, Dave. So if he just falls right back to his castle, he's completely fine. He's got 10 more cav archers on the way, 30 Magyar Hussar in queue, And look at the middle of Viper's base and look at that left side now. It's all so exposed. He only has one castle to protect from raids.
And he doesn't have anything to protect the most valuable resource now on the map, which is wood. And Villese has all of these castles at the front, so he can continue gathering this wood. Viper is going to have an issue because the raids will continue to come in here.
This is
Sick play
fantastic
from
play
Villese.
here. Yeah, this is insane.
Really good.
And this is also another instance with him where in the early game we're like, oh, why didn't he try and do something different? This is why. This is why the guy doesn't take risks, because his meta play, his build up, his safety net in the mid game brings him to being a late game powerhouse. 2,500 gold. I know Viper's got that extra relic, but it does feel like it's just a matter of time till Viper goes down here.
Yeah, and the Saracen trading bonus isn't really a factor anymore here because the prices have pretty much bottomed out.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a period where since you bought so many resources, selling gives you more resources in return. It's a bit weird, but I don't know. If I'm in Villese's shoes, I would just send 10 or so Magyar Hussar into Viper's Eco as I fight in the main fight.
And he's been doing that. I mean,
to do that.
He cleared up the wood line on the right side. He keeps sending Magyar Hussar in from the right. He's still fighting in the middle here, and he's got his Cav Archer mass back up to 40 plus. 18 in the queue, 48 on the field right now. Magyar Hussar in front, and Viper just has the worst units. He's doing the same thing as Villese, but his units are worse, and his gold supply is also worse.
And remember, it's also harder to get to the composition that we're seeing in the north right now. You need the castles, you need unique techs for Viper. The only unique techs he really relied on will be Zealotry, and the camels haven't really had that effect that he wanted. This might be the final fight because Viper will see he's at the limit. If he loses this fight, especially his Cav Archer mass, he's done.
Yep.
And the population's still very close for both, but I just seeing a whole lot less yellow here and a whole lot more blue as the reinforcements of the Magyar Hussars are actually keeping up with the reinforcements of the Hussars from Viper.
He's got 4 castles producing them. Viper is now sniping Cav Archers. Good micro in a confined space from him. Villese is doing the same thing, though, and the meat shield is no longer there from Viper. And he needs to back up, and I think this might be the moment when he realizes he needs to win 3 games in a row to continue on.
And he's done it before. He's done it many times before. Viper is the master of the comebacks, but the GG is called, and what an absolutely ridiculous game. Like, all around, right? We had the early conversations on the aggression, and then Viper's boom approach, I think, was correct, but he just needed to kill the Magyars faster than he did, Dave, because my God, is that late game strong.
5%.
5%. Was that... At that time, I was pretty... I know.
I think Viper had a good position. I don't know. The problem is, I don't know where he necessarily went wrong there. Does he not push on that side with the castle? Did he wait too long to push over there? Did he stay too... He might have stayed too long, honestly, in Castle Age, booming up.
Well, yeah, that could be part of it. Remember, he did... Maybe it's a bit of an overboom because he went to 150 Villes.
Yeah.
But I just look at the imp times right now, and I know 90 seconds doesn't feel like a lot, but it takes so long for your opponent to get fully upgraded Magyar Hussar and fully upgraded Heavy Cav Archers. So the fact that Viper didn't take out a single castle from his opponent when he was an imp that much faster tells me he just took a lot of time to figure out what he wanted to do or where he wanted to push from. That was his window there, and he wasn't able to take it. In terms of resources brought in this game, he actually had more. He had more food, he had more gold, he had way more stone, but he ended the game with 1 castle.
Damn.
Did supplies lose him the game? Did like the barracks,
Indecision,
instead of going
maybe?
all in on the stables and the ranges, lose him the game, maybe?
If that's the case, then that's a very fine margin to walk.
Yeah.
I think he just needed to be like 2 minutes faster to Imperial Age, really capitalize on his... I don't think the Cav Archer mass was bad because he did get some good value with it. It's just when he pushed with that Cav Archer mass, and maybe the amount of villagers, the amount of Cav Archers he had like 40, and then he had 150 Villes, which means you only have an additional 10 pop space for those Trebs, the Hussar, the Camels, whatever you want to add in front. Who knows?
Honestly, though, when Viper was getting hoardings on the right side and had Trebs,
Yep.
and this was before recurve bow and all those techs, I'm like, okay, Viper's got this game. And I think in his mind, he felt the same.
Mm-hmm.
If there was a bit more urgency from Viper there with Hussars as opposed to maybe skirmishers, maybe he does it. But I just cannot say enough good things about the player that is now beating Viper 3-1. I saw it in every game, but like that Arabia game was so top tier from these guys. I was like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. They are playing better than they did in the quarterfinals.
Yep.
We have more games, Dave, and Viper has to try and go, not quite for the reverse sweep, I guess, but he needs to win 3 in a row. Otherwise, he's out in the semis here.
Yeah, and we've got a great arena matchup coming up here. We've got Bohemians for Viper, Turks for Villese. I've seen Turks beat Bohemians many times in this arena matchup, so we'll see what Villese can do. And we'll see what sort of strategy Viper goes for here.
Yeah, we saw it in the cast yesterday, right? It was Bohemians for MBL, and it was Turks for Villese. Now that was on Fortified Clearing, which is a bit different, but not only does Viper need to win 3 straight, but this is his final home map, I believe. So he would have to win 3 straight on his opponent's home map, where in theory his opponent is going to prefer those situations.
Bohemians are 0-3 versus Turks, says Robo.
0-3.
Yep.
I want to say good, because I feel like people have been sleeping on Turks except for this player here.
Yep.
Like, we did not see near as many Turk picks as I expected. I think Gold League was the exception to that. You did have a few more clowns, of course, in the Gold League.
Tato also, I will say though, Tato also lost with Turks with 5 relics.
Yeah, but it was
battle,
Byzantine.
So
It was Byzantine, so.
in like an hour-long game, losing with 5 relics. Omega lol.
Yeah, painful stuff. Well, here we are. You don't see this every day, especially when the Viper has been in tip-top shape. He is down 3-1 here. This is his final home map. Or maybe he has one left after this. Sorry, that's really not that important, as they all know the maps. Viper playing as the Bohemians, Villese as the Turks. You think the Turks are better here, Dave? Because I do.
I think the Turks are better, yeah. I think it's a good Civ matchup for Bohemians. Now, when you're asking me which is the better arena Civ, then we kind of have to have a discussion, but I think it's a good Civ matchup.
Yeah. No, that's a fair point. I think when you think of the bonuses for the Bohemians, it's all very one-sided. And so it's infantry, hand cannons, and the big cannons, the big boys, the Hoofnitsa later. So if you don't go for that, if you don't have success with that, you don't really have a lot else. The stable units aren't very strong. The unique unit is also kind of niche and not really the unit you want to commit to.
I'd say wagons suck, dude. Just say it. They suck.
Well, okay, so they don't actually suck if you go all in with them. It's ridiculous. The way they're supposed to be used is you're supposed to, like, toss them in with your army, because I think it increases, like...
No, it decreases the damage if you're standing behind it.
Decreases the damage if you're standing behind it. That's the way it's supposed to be used, but I also feel like that is a really bad thing for a unique unit to have.
Yeah.
Like, give the Bohemians, put that in a siege workshop or something, and then maybe that spices up other aspects of the game. But I don't know. Clearly, all the thought process from the devs went into other things with the Bohemians.
It's interesting that Viper sent his scout forward so early. Like, he's scouting the map just to maybe give him time to formulate a strategy based on where the resources are or the relics or whatnot. He's not pushing in the deer. Villese is pushing in the deer, and now he's going to go out and scout the map. So Viper prioritizing that early kind of says, what does that say about his strat? I don't know. Maybe he's trying to figure out exactly what he wants to do.
Well, I think the big thing in his mind is going to be, do I want to compete for relics or not? And if I do, how do I do it?
Well, he only found
missing
one.
That relic.
He's missing all of them, dude. What the hell?
AoE God's not doing him any favors here.
Dude, he missed 3 relics. What the hell? And he went right past those.
Oh.
I mean, he will know where they are.
He's got to imagine there's one in the dark spot, at least on the front of his base. So, but I actually like the scouting from Viper, because the timing on the pushing deer in a fast castle isn't that important. A lot of players push it first, but it's not like you're rushing fast feudal. So, we've talked about it a lot, right? Turks, Burgundians, civs that are just so good at flooding light cav in the middle. They have been dominating Bohemians if the Bohemians try and just go for spearmen. And so he might be thinking, can I get away with nothing? Can I get away with just 2 spearmen and just get my boom going faster than the opponent? So that would be my guess, because you can't tower rush.
6 spearmen, box formation them with the monk, and then slowly push out for that. No one uses box, dude. No one uses box formation. No one uses box formation. No. I'm talking with spearmen and monks.
Yeah, that's true. Is that actually, like, I don't know how easy that is to control, though, because I think you'd have to...
No, the monk automatically goes in the center. It's just whether the light cav can phase through the spearmen. But with Bohemians, you, like, 2-shot or 3-shot the light cav, 2-shot the scouts with spears, right?
Okay, that's true. Well, I hope for your sake we see it here, okay? I think 4 with box formation would look very nice, because you've got one little...
No, but that doesn't work, though.
Oh,
you need
so
6.
you tested this, actually.
No, but like, I know how... Okay, I just know how the game works. If you want the full surround, then you need 8.
Okay. Am I robo on your end, by the way?
No. Am I robo on your end?
A little bit, but it'll probably solve itself like it did earlier today, and I'm kind of enjoying it.
Humanity must die.
It was like you made the comment of, I know how the game works, and it just
I know how that game
ridiculous.
works.
Yeah.
Calculations complete. Require 8 spearmen.
Well, I think last time I saw 8 spearmen, they got 1 relic, and I was just like, "Ooh, that's so painful."
Yeah.
But Villese could go for cav archers again in this matchup, Dave. On to what Turks can do, right? They have the light cav, but I feel like cav archer, bombard cannon can easily compete with and neutralize the Halb Hufnitze play from the Bohemians.
Yeah, I'm really nervous for Viper right now. I mean, we've seen him in sets like this, and if Viper's gonna, I don't know, we've seen him come back from pretty big deficits, but we've also seen him just kind of fold once he's behind by 3-1 or 3-0 or whatnot. Obviously, famously against Yo a couple times, but also against Villese, he lost 4-1 in that best of 7. 3-1 in the best of 5? I can't remember what it was.
I think it was a 3-1 in a best of 5. But to be honest, like, what's exciting about this is not Viper playing under his level. Like, this is Viper playing very good. We are only asking tiny little questions of Viper, like on timings and should he, it's not like this is Viper underperforming, and that's a very important thing to mention, because we have seen instances where top players do underperform a little bit. That is not happening here. That just tells you how good his opponent's been playing. I'm so pumped for Villese right now. Obviously, hope Viper gets this one and we get a few more games out of this series.
He is looking good.
Villese also has had a tendency, like many of the top 10, top 15, to crumble against, let's say, the top 3 big names. And so for him to get a
is it
semifinal
really a crumble though?
Awesome.
Is it really a crumble when you're against Leary or Hera or Viper or Yo?
I guess if I feel the player underperforms, yes, and I have felt that from him possibly in the past.
The way he's playing today, though, Villese isn't gonna lose this set. It feels like Viper's gonna have to win the set, if that makes sense.
Yeah. We honestly could have swapped the names with Capture Age and swapped the colors.
Yeah.
And people be like, oh, yeah, I knew Viper would be up 3-1. Like, yeah, that's Viper. Viper with Magyars. Such a beast,
I saw this 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He's had this build in his back pocket the whole time.
Yeah. Okay, so Viper is going to compete for the relics. He does not get light cav for free. Yep.
Yeah, he hasn't gone for the spearman approach. Although he will probably mix some of those in.
Yeah, he clearly doesn't feel like extra bonus attack against Cav is going to be enough. So I haven't asked him, but that at least answers our question on if he thinks the straight spearman play
Well,
is bad.
if he was watching the Jordan set, he should know that it's just not enough. If he was watching any of these matchups, he should know. Just not enough.
And Viper's always been known as being very strong on arena. Not like you can't say the same for his opponent. And actually a good time to fight the Turks with scouts right now, because that will be a light cav in 2 minutes. I imagine we'll just see that scout run home, though, and we shouldn't see too much happen there.
I like the lumber camps are very satisfying for Villese. They're on, like, competing sides, both in a little nook. I don't know. It's cute.
No, the nook's the way to go. That's the most efficient lumber camp. Now he's placed a house next to his woodline, which makes me want to scream.
Hideous.
Now it's just like...
Absolutely
now if he
hideous.
Tries to farm around the TC. Oh, God, he ruined it.
Absolutely hideous, Villese.
But anyways, yeah, that's going to be your most efficient lumber camp if you can get it in a nook. At least in the long term. You can see Viper's lumber camps were not, and so there's got more gaps in between the one lumber camp. But we're just
this is what we talk about.
Things.
Yeah, this is what we talk about on Arena in the build-up. We're about to be in Castle Age, though. Villese is a little bit quicker. One Villese than Viper.
Nice. You said earlier that he would finish his walls, and I thought it was a joke.
That's right.
But maybe it was. I mean, it fit the situation, so it was a mix. All right, monastery will be the play. Viper with a lot of farms, so he's really thinking about light cap. Some players will just go for scouts. I know it sucks that your opponent gets it for free, but I think you need to get light cap as well.
Yep.
I agree with that.
Also, if Viper gets fervor for his monks, it will affect his economy, which is quite nice. It's
I love
good
that
optimization.
Bonus.
Yeah, that's a good one, I think.
That's such a nice bonus. Yeah, and it also could complement your monk play, but I think he's going to use that 200 gold towards the first 2 monks. Very rarely are you going to see fervor rushed, because the light cav are still faster. The light cav are still going to be out there to threaten your monks regardless. Okay, second TC for both players. The positioning's quite nice for both. All about execution. We have 5 light cav, soon to be 6 for Villese, and it's 4, soon to be 5 for Viper, but that doesn't matter if it is light cav versus monks necessarily, and Viper's on the prowl right now. These 2 relics are really close to Villese too, so he wants to snag at least one of these.
Yeah, Viper's only got one of those that's really close to him. The other one is closer to him, though. Villese's got 3 basically within his sphere. Viper's only got 2, and that second one is pretty far away, so unfortunate for him, but not the worst thing in the world. If you get map control with the light cav anyway, you should be fine.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, it's always that conversation on the 3rd relic normally. Who's that going to be closer to?
Fervor.
But Fervor is coming in really early. So I'm excited to see it. I wasn't expecting it to be this early. And it can help your economy too, so it does make sense.
Looks like the T90 creep emote of old.
It does, yes.
It's my favorite
had
icon.
A mod temporarily that changed the Fervor into the T90 creep, and then I removed it. Because it was like way out of place, and then people were like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Like, what is that up there? Because it pops up for 30 seconds, and then they're like, whoa.
So Villese is faster to that 3rd TC. Viper is on 2 TC right now, and same numbers of light cav. Viper, remember, had to invest into that light cav upgrade. Villese gets it for free. One of the beautiful things about the Turks. And Viper taking an initial bad engagement. He's waiting for the Spearman to arrive. He did lose a light cav, and Villese is going to snag 2 relics and probably get this 3rd one.
I think if you get 2 here in this Civ matchup, there's
Viper
a little
splits
whoop
around.
there from Viper.
Yeah.
Nice play. Oh, there he goes. I think if you get 2, you're happy, because you just don't want Turks to get 4 or more. But Villese responds and kills one of Viper's monks too. Wow, great all-around play.
Yeah, Villese's ahead right now. We've got a 3rd TC from Viper. Relic coming in, that's the first one, and then he's got this one over here, which he should get in, and now they're just going to contest for that middle area. Villese actually investing into 1 more light cav. Viper is just going to be running around with these light cav, trying to snipe the monks from him.
Should be no conversion there. And it will be 2-2.
Yo,
Viper's gonna
Donnie,
grab the
thank you
second
for the
one.
raid. Thank you so much.
Should be able to make it back home. And Viper, I think he could lose light cap here. I think the monks, this is a continuation
Yep.
of that earlier conversion. They didn't lose sight.
He did get a monk, though. And
Yeah.
he knows he's going to be behind in light cap number because Villese kept engaging, and there goes the light cap into the gate. Knows he can't get that other monk, and he's going to be running around in Villese's economy. Remember, Villese does not have looms, so he's going to have to keep chasing this with his own light cap. Viper's looking for any potential weak villagers around the farms. He's getting a heads up on what Villese is up to.
Viper may be putting too much attention on that light cab right now because he was late to react here.
He's going to get
just
this
wants the
monk,
monk.
but yeah, gets converted.
Yeah, so now I think it should be impossible for Viper to get that final relic, but I think it being 3-2 is fine. That's as even as it really can get if everyone collects all the or players collect all the relics anyways.
Guard the monks, guard the monks, guard the monks, guard the monks. Nope. Dead.
I like the teamwork there. He's like, hey, if you stand on top of me, he won't notice you.
Yep.
Didn't work.
So it's going to be 3-2. When all is said and done, 3-2. A little bit of a bigger investment into this from Villese, though. He did get a lot of his monks sniped. I think he got like
true.
4 or 5 monks sniped. Viper probably losing 3 monks. And Villese also adding a lot more light cap, but they will automatically get upgraded to Hussar in the next stage, so not the worst thing in the world. We're looking at his resources looking really, really good. Viper does have Fervor for his villagers. He's getting both the eco upgrades here in Castle Age, and he's already got wheelbarrows. So economies are fairly similar. I think I might even favor Viper on that count.
Textbook to add the Siege Workshop right now, but I'm not sure about the position, and Viper did just spot it. I think Tata was the best at this. Now, I think he ended up losing the game where he did it most recently against Jordan. But when you have the map control with Turks, I love a little bit of Siege to slow down the other player.
Yep.
They will
Or
they will
even
sometimes
prevent a
feel the
castle
need-
foundation.
Yeah, exactly. They might need to place the castle further back in their base. They might feel the need to add a second, third barracks to push out with pikemen. You know you're just going to go imp. But Viper seeing that has him a little paranoid right now, and he's even adding an outpost just in case something funky happens here.
4 TC for Villese. Viper getting handcarts, so his vills are going to be...
Yeah.
Watch these vills. They are speed walkers, dude. You know that event in the Olympics where you have to walk as fast as you can, but you can't run?
That's not an Olympic event.
It literally is, bro.
They must not televise that.
It
in other
literally
countries.
is.
Is that like a big event? Is you get your
Who
friends
the hell
together to
would
watch that in
televise
Canada?
that? No one would televise it, but it's still an event.
I mean, no way. What's it called?
it's
does someone get a name
it's
for
called
us?
race walking or speed walking or something.
Speed walking.
You've never seen that? It looks like someone that's like
It's called
trying-
march, apparently. Marching.
marching. Okay, well, it looks like someone that really has to go to the bathroom but is trying to play it cool.
looks like me right now.
There's an emergency situation and you're
Yeah.
trying to play it cool, you know?
Wow. Well, no, I can't say that I've actually ever watched that, but I will definitely not put that on my list of things to watch. Well, Viper getting chemistry now, as you can do with the Bohemians. And so that will be in a minute, but he won't be an imp for a minute 45. Villese will be an imp in a minute, and chemistry's instant. So he'll actually be able to take advantage of chemistry faster than the Viper. And we might be looking at the end of Viper in Titans League Season 1 right now.
It might be. Yep.
Like this timing is going to be insane here.
I wouldn't underestimate the power of Hufnitsa, though, if he does get into it.
Yep.
It can be very strong. However, his eco right now, 37 on farms with the faster villagers. Will he be able to afford that? Will he be able to mass them up? Villese is going to have Imperial Age before Viper with those bomber cannons coming out immediately. Actually, doesn't quite have the wood. It's just going to go into Cav Archers now.
I'm seeing articles on Wikipedia now about race walking at the Olympics. The thumbnail photo, it definitely looks like it's from like the 90s. So
Yeah.
I'm curious if that's like a thing that people train for these days.
Yep.
But 3-2 with relics. There's the Wagenberg tactics for the Viper. The concern I have for him is just the time here, right? Like, will he actually be able to get the Hufnitsa cannons? He doesn't know that his opponent will be going 4 Cav Archers, but he probably expects it.
And Viper behind in relics, so or no, he's not Burgundius. God, I looked at that. I heard you say Wagenberg. I heard you say Wagenberg, and then someone said Vineyards in my chat, and I was thinking it was Burgundian Vineyards. It was like a whole, yeah, it was a whole.
Can we talk about
mess.
this adopted cavalry unit here, the light cav that doesn't get enough love?
Where is it?
He just can't get upgrades with everybody else. He's like,
oh,
yeah,
it's a converted one.
Enemy.
Where is
yeah.
it? Oh, yeah, it's in there.
Yeah, so
he's trying to blend in. He's trying to
know.
blend in.
At least they're letting him join the party.
He needs some Red Bull. Give
I'm
him
not
wings.
a fan of cannons against wall here. This feels like a waste of your time window. But we will see some classic dodgeball here, Dave. You don't see this every day.
And Viper simply walls around that.
Rewalling, yeah.
Yep. And he's waiting until he has the resources for Hufnitsa. That's why he's not queuing up anything else.
Oh,
he gets a cannon from Villese. Big.
Ooh.
I guess Villese is just hitting that wall because he figures his Cav Archer ball will be unstoppable later on.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he might also want to run in with the Hussars.
Viper getting
I'm sure that Light Cav is anxious to prove himself. He's over on the right side now. He's been banished from the group.
Villese is very confident in his Cav Archer mass, and it feels like Viper, I don't know if he is confident, but he has to be at this point with his map position in Hufnitsa Skirm. Yeah. He's banking everything on the fact that Hufnitsa are very strong, and he's going to have the Skirm there to help out against the Cav Archers. Nice snipe on that Cav Archer.
Yeah, his micro's been sick here. I would like to use this moment to remind the world that I once beat Viper in a best-of-3 in Bombard Cannon Dodgeball.
Yep.
No one seems to bring that up for some reason.
Great.
Thank you. I'm sure everyone's impressed.
It's because he didn't have any Top Gun music to play in the background.
Oh, those are the days. I think Villese should realize he needs Hussars here because he's seeing Viper's Castle has all the ranged upgrades. That should tell him it's not just going to be cannons here, but he's not making more stables, which is a concerning sight.
Artillery is in. Artillery is in, and that gives them extra range. These bomber cannons, 12+2 right now. Viper's bomber cannons, only 12 range. About to be Hufnitsa. Some pikemen right there, and he'll show those to Villese. So Villese may be thinking it's going to be Halberdier first, but it is indeed Skirmisher. And Siege Engineers now coming in from Viper, which will make him only at a deficit of 1 range instead of 2.
When we saw this matchup, granted it was on fortified clearing, but when we saw this in the quarterfinal between Villese and MBL, as Viper loses a cannon, the push had already kind of won the game, right? Like the snowball had started. Viper is not in a great position, but he is still making, well, actually no, he has 1 Hufnitsa, so he's not really making them, but he could build up more, and he still has his eco.
He's prioritized the Skirmisher mass and getting the text for potential Halberdiers soon over massing up those Hufnitsa, and almost gets a big shot there. Villese is very nervous to pounce here. He's got many bomber cannons, and I think Viper is taking an incredible risk only having 1 Hufnitsa on the field right now. But that's what Viper does, right? He gets super greedy, and at this point, is it even greed if he needs that army mass in front?
Yeah, that's true. Like, that's the thing. It's the Cav Archer Hussar so scary here, and it takes you so long to get your cannons that he just doesn't want to go fully in cannon numbers and not have protection. Yeah, there's not a lot of space for these guys to move around. I feel like that one rainforest tree is just going to cause a problem at some point with some cannons.
Oh, he targeted the archer range. I thought he went for that cannon.
Viper's 1 cannon's there, the other cannon's behind this, but he's dodging nicely. The Cav Archers will sacrifice themselves to take it, though, and they get it. And now they wisely back away, but Viper's population's looking higher.
He's got more Hufnitsa. Yeah, and he's slowly working his way out to that gold on the left, too. If he takes map control here, he can go out towards that gold or place a barracks right on top of it, either or.
Cav Archers could get flattened by these cannons, and it's a lot more expensive.
Bombard Tower.
There's Bombard Tower. What a great decision. We would not expect that from Villese in most cases, but it was a conversation we all had in that crazy Turks game with Tato and Jordan. I like that decision. just like right next to your siege workshops here, and give Viper something else he needs to go for, as another Hoofneats is going to go down to the Cav Archers.
I think he needs repair villagers forward, dude. I mean, it's more micro, sure, but I think you need repair villagers to out-repair that damage. You maybe force the Cav Archers into fights where Villese is giving up the numbers in order to kill them instead of just running in. Villese is now raiding that gold over there with the Cav Archers. He is losing quite a bit of mass here, so that's kind of concerning for him, and Viper still has 4 Hoofneatsa in the queue. If he ever gets a group of like 8 Hoofneatsa, could be really tough, but Villese is using this time to go forward with the Bombard Towers.
Also, he has 10 bombard cannons, or excuse me, 9, about to be 10.
Yep.
Viper's castles and siege workshops will melt if that position arrives where Villese can confidently push.
Yeah, and he's pushing up. He's got the Bombard Tower behind, almost up. Viper should probably delete all these walls. Yeah, that's what he's doing right now. Look at that.
That's
Dude,
so satisfying.
when did we
man.
start playing AoE 3 here? It's just so much gunpowder.
And so now these trash units, they have one extra layer of defense to run into.
Bombard cannons going down.
To sacrifice this many Cav Archers here?
I don't know, is it? You're getting the Bombard Towers behind, but look at this. Viper's clearing everything up. And the Bombard Cannon mass is down to 5 now from Villese. Viper's still trying to snipe. He's still sniping those Cav Archers. Bombard Towers are trying to range the Hoofneatsa. He gets one.
Got one though.
8+5 range on these bad boys.
Yeah, I think it's already paid for itself if you get one. Viper with a strong mix of halbs now. For a while, it was a lot of skirms. Now it's a lot of halbs, obviously trying to do both.
He gets another.
Wow, these towers are so clutch.
Viper forgetting maybe that these towers have enough range to snipe the Hoofneatsa while they're being attacked.
Also, the repair bills for Villese, right? Like, he's been repairing some of his cannons. He's just going to make another tower, getting architecture now. Viper still has quite a bit of gold to work with.
Siege tower!
That might not be a troll. There's a chance
it
that
might
Viper's
not
making
be
a siege tower for,
to tank damage.
To tank,
yeah.
We're going to give him credit for that one. As
has
Villese
to be careful here. He has to be careful. If he loses his Bombard Cannon mass without getting an effective trade on the Hoofneatsa, this is something coming back across, and Viper takes out 2 of them.
Choo-choo! Siege tower hype. Viper takes another one out with the skirms. Thank God for capture rate. I just keep looking at the unit queue of cannons. This is wild. But Viper will lose more. Villese backs away. There's the siege tower, tanking some shots. It will ultimately go down. And Viper's in a choke point there with his cannons. Oh, man. Oh, and he's running forward with the villagers. What's happening here? What's happening with Viper? Is he going to try and drop a castle? Does he feel like he needs to take this now?
I don't know. Villese is taking his stone. Villese is taking his stone over there, and Villese is pushing forward with more Bombard Towers. So difficult for Viper. He manages to stall out that one Bombard Tower forward. He's still getting some decent shots against the Cav Archers. He's got 4 Hoofneats in the queue, but he's losing some now.
Dave, if Viper loses this position, this game is over, and this series will be over. Viper continually losing his Hoofneatsa. He's going to lose another one there. But I guess at the same time, his population's still high.
Look at Villese's stone and gold. Yet. He can just Bombard Cannon everything. And right now, he's focusing on just stalling out Viper. There is a threat for Villese. If Viper gets too many Hoofneatsa and Villese loses all of his Bombard Cannons, those Bombard Towers are not going to last for very long.
Yep.
But right now, he's just trying to stall him out and get the Bombard Towers down and prevent Viper from taking the stone, prevent him from taking the gold.
Oh, look at the technology coming in for Villese now. As he loses a bunch of Bombard Cannons, he's going to go Champion here. He sees Viper's only on trash. And Champions also will be nice because it doesn't cost a lot of gold, like the Bombard Towers, the cannons, and the Cav Archers.
If Viper manages to win this from this position, that'd be ridiculous.
Well, he does have 5 cannons again.
Yep.
And it's 7 for his opponent, so anything can happen. And the trash units, I know the KD doesn't look good, but it is working to kill off the Hussars and the Cav Archers at moments. Supplies is on the way. This tech switch will take some time. Viper's rushing down a Bombard Tower, which I don't agree with, but he might realize that he needs to lose Vils.
Villese coming in, and he kills the Hoofneatsa. He kills another one, and he almost gets another one.
It's stressful to watch, man. The micro, so important. But the more I watch it, especially as the tech switch comes in, As I look at the resources too, the more I feel like Villese is going to finish this one.
Both
If
players
he can
at
get
160
30
pop.
champions, he pushes it back. No problem.
Both players really struggling to keep their pop up. Look, now it's falling again. Even though Villese has so many resources in the queue, he doesn't want to waste them right now, right? He knows he's got a good forward position. Doesn't want to waste that res.
This is
keep his
Viper's
advantage.
moment. Finally, Viper's repairing, and now he's at 7 cannons. I have not seen him at 7 cannons in a bit
8.
yet. So
Damn, dude. And these Hoofnits are very strong. And if he kills the bomber cannons from Villese, it could be problems for the Finn. He's going for more siege workshops forward. This is Viper's moment to push.
Hussar's diving in. More halbs are here for the Viper. I think the distraction's worth it just so Viper has to pull back. Two-handed swordsman's also on the way. It won't be fully upgraded champions when he gets there.
Oh, Hoofnitsa are stacked up. 2 of them go down. Good
Bomber
snipe there.
cannon goes down for Villese as well. He still doesn't have more cav archers in queue. So it's definitely going to be the champion play for him, Dave. But he doesn't have champion yet. I wonder if two-handed swordsman is going to be enough.
What a game.
I think it might be, yeah.
Honestly, what a game here. Two-handed swordsman's going to be a surprise to Viper as well, or champion rather, will be a surprise to him. Villese is kind of falling back, waiting for that transition, but you're really giving up the map control here, Villese. Maybe it's not the right call to go into that. Viper has so many cannons now. He's got 6 of them forward, even with a Treb, taking out the Bombard Tower on the right side. He's killing the siege workshops from Villese.
Viper sees it, though. Viper
Oh.
sees it. Okay, spread your units out here, Villese. You need to spread them out as much as possible. The trash is completely neutralized by this switch, and Viper has to respect it. He so badly wanted to push that castle. Now he might need some hand cannons here.
Yeah, and he's adding them in. He's adding them in right now. He's repairing the Hoofnitsa from behind. I have this hideous champion mod that was auto-downloaded for me, and now we have legionary champions, and it's pissing me off so much right now.
Thank you, Devs, for that. But Dave, Viper's running so low on gold. He can't make hand cannons long term. He can't even make the Hoofnitsa long term. So if the push stalls out here, this might be it. This might send Villese to the final. Also, great attack round from him there as he pulls back.
Viper
Still
had a
has
moment
champion
there.
production.
He had a beautiful moment there where he was pushing out, but Villese now clearing up all the hand cannons, and I think it just seems like Viper is running out of energy.
He's running out of gold as well. The 8 that he has on gold is on the left. There's 100 gold there. He also has just been able to take his stone on the right, which I think is an underrated thing Villese focused on with the Bombard Towers. Villese still has plenty of gold on the right. There's only 2 villagers. Oh, no, there's more there as well. So, yeah, that map control, plus the relics, has given him so much of that gold.
God, I've just had my screen on this area of the map for so long.
Yeah.
It's been a graveyard here.
I mean,
Big shot.
the hand cannons are amazing mix here. And so the champions serve their purpose, but I think you almost want to go back into like Hussars. It's tough. Viper's mix has been deadly at times, and it's looked vulnerable at times, and you could say the same for both. But it's all still centered around those cannons, as we have 4 for Viper with 1 on the way, 4 for Villese, and 1 on the way. Another Bombard Tower on the right side there for the Finn, but he will lose that to the Treb from Viper. This is
Viper
where it's all
now
going to go down, Dave.
sharing the
It's-
gold with Villese in the center, and Viper has 5 Hoofnitsa. He's trying for the push again, going for forward barracks, deleting his walls. He's going to open it up a little bit here.
I honestly think Viper needs to delete like 20 Lumberjacks. Because if the game goes much longer, I think he's dead. He needs as much army as possible.
He's pop capped for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
Villese is not, and he keeps getting decent shots on the champions.
Something that I think Viper does a slightly better job at is queuing units while microing. And I think that, combined with having more numbers, could make a difference.
Ooh,
for him
nice
here.
snipe, dude. He's getting so much value with these.
Oh, God, the Cav Archers.
And
I
it's
mean,
tough
without
for
that
Villese.
unit-
It's like you have a really strong comp here, and you have the Hussars to come in and snipe those Hoofnitsa maybe, as he might get 1 here, might
Worth
get
it.
2.
Worth it. Might get 3.
Oh
Get
boy.
1. Viper pulls all the way back. By the way, all Viper's skirms go down to the champions now. Wow, what a wave. Don't tell me Viper loses all of his cannons.
Villese
here.
could attack around these
attack
with his
rounds.
bomber cannons.
He's focused on the castle, Dave.
Dude,
and I
he
can't blame
saves
him.
them. He saves them.
But can he save himself now? Because if that castle's down, the champions and the Hussars could advance out. And he's going to. He's going to save himself here. Villese has to back away. There's another wave from Viper. My God, this is a sick game.
Dude, this is so stressful. Just to watch. Imagine playing this. You know, one little miss micro with your cannons and the game is lost.
Yeah. That's what it's felt like. But more Hussars coming in. It's like
good
right
gate.
after I mentioned, Viper goes for the gates. Right after I mentioned that Villese is having an issue with reinforcing, he seems to solve that problem. And again, the cannons are heading back the other way now.
Viper loses one. Might lose the second.
Two. He could lose them all if the attack round
He
is
loses
correct
them
here.
all. He loses them all, I think.
Oh my God.
Big. And he adds more,
Is
and he
that
sells. He sells the farm. He
Is
sells
that it for
everything.
Viper?
It might be it.
12 wins in the group stage. Won his group, no problem. Won his quarterfinal match, no problem.
What a beast, Villese.
But here's Villese, yeah. I mean, his population
Look
is
at
still
on the right.
170.
Look at on the right side. Let's go, Viper. He's hanging in there, boys.
The Hussars will attack there. Viper's castle still standing. Somehow, the Bombard Towers
The Villes are going to
showing
open that
themselves
gate.
again.
The Villes are going to open that gate. It's going to be horrendous. It's going to be awful,
I mean,
dude.
all
They're going to open
Cav
it.
Archers- One Cav Archer kills all those villagers anyways, right? It's funny, though. It shows how desperate Viper is, and he's being as creative as possible. Another cannon arrives. That cannon, there's two now. They will survive. And Viper, I don't know how he still has this castle. Like, what in the world is happening right now? Villese, back away with your Cav Archers. Viper's
Damn,
not done
dude.
yet.
Viper is not done yet. That Bombard Tower is going to be very annoying as another Hoofnitsa went down there from Viper. He's at 100. He's got more pop than Villese right now.
Yeah, it's wild.
And he's got the treb
Absolutely
to actually
insane.
work on that Bombard Tower, which is great. Villese needs to be microing down those Hoofnitsa with the tower. But he needs to be
it's
microing
just-
a lot of things.
He
And
needs to
those Hussar into Viper's Woodline can be very annoying too. Really, really good.
Yeah.
Viper needs to plug that gap for sure.
Villese, I don't know, like, in some ways he has to push, in other ways he has to stall. I guess it's the same for both players. It does feel like Viper has more of a clock on him, though, because of the lack of relics and gold control, and that's why Villese continues to dive, Dave, and he'll get another cannon, at a cost, of course.
Yep.
But he responds with a massive shot on those skirmishers.
Oh man, what a tense game. Look at
It's
the
150
KD.
pop for both. It's 150 population for both. Villese should probably have a few more villagers here too. Can Viper do it though? Like what does Viper have to accomplish? Viper has to take out, I guess it's the same for both. They both need to take out the castles and the production there, right? Cav Archer.
Oh, it's so
Hussar,
tough. The win
champion.
conditions here are pretty clear for Villese. For Viper, it gets a little bit more complicated, right? As
Well,
he
he does get a
snipes
cannon there.
a bombard cannon. Does he get the other ones? He gets the villager.
Uh-oh,
Just
but the
still
Hussars
trying to
are here.
run. Oh boy. And that's
Viper
that
has
might be
two
the
more
GG
cannons in
moment right
queue.
there.
2 more cannons might not be enough. We have no more champions in queue for Villese, but it should happen here shortly. Another cannon for Viper arrives. Villese sees it immediately, though, and he'll take it out, and yeah, maybe this is the end. He's got 1 cannon, Dave. Can you imagine if Viper were to come back and win this game, how exhausted they would be going into the next game, though?
Yeah.
They would need a break. They would definitely need some type of a rest. Viper making a tower now on the
150
right.
pop for both still.
Yeah. Viper's got a tower on the right because he doesn't want his opponent to have that gold. But the gold's actually finished now, so no more gold to mine on the map. Turks notorious for relying on gold, as they can only make Hussar for trash. They cannot go for Elite Skirm and Halb. And I think that's a big thing that should still be in the back of Viper's mind.
Yeah, I mean,
If
if
there's no
Villese ever
champions.
runs out of gold, which he has now, he's got the relics, but that's about it. Maybe you can keep yourself in this. You do have the faster villagers, so your food is coming in quite quickly. And you're selling that now for enough gold to just afford a single Hoofnitsa at a time. And Viper continues to fight here, folks. He's
not
not
finished,
giving
man.
up. No, he's not
He's not even
done.
close to finished, and I really think the important thing for him is that he has the castles, because otherwise raids would be more of an issue. It is so much more difficult to micro in Villese's position because the Cav Archers will die to Halbs if the Halbs getting close and skirms from distance. Viper can still do this. It's going to be a grind, but Viper can still win this game.
Yep. If he kills those bomber cannons from Villese, oh boy.
Yeah. Viper's made a lot. I wish we had stats on how many both players have created and lost.
Almost got a great shot there, but Villese microing away. Both of them have done a fantastic job. It feels like Viper has lost a lot more Hufnitsa than Villese has bomber cannons. But then again, Viper's only tool to take out the bomber cannons is his Hufnitsa, whereas Villese has every tool in his arsenal to potentially kill those Hufnitsa.
Look at the production from Viper, though. Always skirms and halbs on the way. Always. Yep. Uh-oh, his Hufnitsa, though.
Nope, Villese is killing his own units. He's got repair bills. He's got halbs. He can't afford to lose these. He loses one.
Oh, that's so painful.
And now sell the barn for another.
He immediately just sells off everything to get another. And the next one goes down.
It goes down, dude.
The next one goes down.
No way. And that impacts the queue because he has to sell all that to get another one. So the push is temporarily stalled out because he doesn't have the unit anymore.
I don't know how Villese is thinking about this, but if I were him, I guess this Cav Archer number does need to be higher. But let's say after this wave of Cav Archers, I say you wait till you've got like 500 gold again, and then you make champs again. Because Viper can't make hand cannons and Hufnitsa.
Viper's missing that final wood upgrade. That actually kind of hurts. That really hurts.
Oh god, also, I mean, I guess he's sacrificing skirmishers for bombard cannons, but that does not look good at all.
He's trying to get the Cav Archers with the skirms. He's pushing the bomber cannons back. It's giving him time to build up the Hufnitsa, but I don't like this now. Hard committing. I guess you're killing out some of the Cav Archers. And there we go, selling again. There he goes.
But he's at the limit there, right? Like you can only do that. I guess on Arena you can technically do that forever, but it doesn't really bring you a great return. Now Viper has to replenish his forces. He doesn't actually have any more skirms in queue, Dave.
He's got these castles, though. His MVP unit. Like, this one castle has 78 kills.
78 kills.
And he's
repairing
that.
It's a sad day to be a Hussar.
Yeah.
It's a very sad day to be a Hussar, but I really like the approach of just diving in with them when you've got this many farms. It has given great rewards so many times.
Villese, by the way, sold all of his stone. I think.
I kind of like it.
Well,
he also built a lot, so I don't know.
It now means that his only gold sources are the same as Viper's. And we said, Viper has much better trash than Villese.
Oh, Viper's cannon! He lost another one, and he could lose 2, 3. Oh, the Hussar will surely get the next
he's going to repair it. No, he's going to repair it. He's going to repair it.
Oh, wow.
Dude. Now look at his queue again. Viper is slowly bringing himself into a position where he could potentially win this game.
Maybe. But there is a big difference in the eco now. I think part of the issue for Villese earlier was that he was at 100 Vils. Having 140 means you actually start to bank a ton of res. His army has been more population efficient. Obviously, Viper's been working mainly off of the trash. That was a sick shot of the Hussars. It's a wonder these guys don't trip over all the wings that are left from the Hussar bodies, man.
Dude, artillery is such a good upgrade here. Such a good upgrade.
So happy to see Turks. Old arena civ.
Man, it feels like Viper should move those relics. If it was any other building, he would have deleted that monastery by now.
I honestly forgot that was the monastery with the relics because it's been so close to everything. It just felt like it shouldn't be there at this stage. And another big shot from both players.
No damage,
players move their cannons.
No damage.
And Viper's pop is right back up. Just like that, his pop is up to where it was before, but we have 50 Hussars on the way. Maybe more stables is something you need if you're Villese, but he snipes another cannon.
That Hussar was a hero. Medal of Honor candidate.
Am I wrong about champions, though? Like, is mixing in champions still a bad thing here, or is Cav Archer Hussar just the way to do this the rest of the day?
I don't think... He doesn't have the gold to go for champions, bro.
Yeah, I guess the thing about Cav Archers is it's so much harder to kill them, and they can sit back and maintain their mass much easier. Yeah, I guess if the castles weren't there, maybe champions actually are a much better play. But oh man, Viper's losing another cannon.
Boy.
This is looking bad. I know his population's higher, but like
Villese is slowly getting that Cav Archer mass up too. He's not queuing anymore right now, but he's keeping his cannons alive. And ooh, almost a big shot there on the skirms. Did end up getting it at the end of the day. Viper now, how many times have we seen this? One Hoofnitsa on the field, one in the queue. Feels like the last hour has just been that.
I just love how you see him sell off immediately after losing one. But he's not building up his numbers. Man, those Halbs are so good against the Hussars, though. Viper tries to get one back. Now he's going to lose another one. Oh, he could lose both of them.
Needs to repair.
He will lose both of them.
And
now
he sells
more, and he's got another cannon.
But look at his numbers.
Go.
His numbers are really struggling here. He's still trying to just pick off the Cav Archers. He's looking towards that late game. Villese has so many Hussar in the queue.
Surely you've got to just give a castle a poke. Like, you should make a personal rule if you're Villese. Every time you take a cannon, just hit one castle with one volley and then back away. Because then you're at least making progress against the castles. Like now, just like hit that castle. And then when you can't justify it anymore, then surely back away.
Mm-hmm. So many Hussar in the queue.
That's
98,
the thing. That
98 on farms.
Yeah.
This is Hera?
Also, he has a lot of stables, and he's even adding more. Because he will see his unit queue and realize he could use more production buildings.
And he's attacking the castle finally, and the monastery is still in the way for Viper.
How many players would have overextended and let Viper push him back? I feel like so many.
Another Hoofnitsa dies. This might be it. This might be it. Castle goes down. Castle had so many kills.
The relics, I mean, he might not need to push much further. Viper will know he can't get these relics back. There are the relics. We'll see if a monk comes out of the monastery immediately for Villese. Wouldn't surprise me.
Villese beating Viper here, I think. And it's 4-1 for him. He takes the series.
That was sick, man. That was so sick. I mean, we had people yesterday, it's understandable, being like, oh, Viper wins a semi. Oh, Hera might win the next semi. Oh, Hera Viper final. First time in a while.
Yep.
Nope. And guys, this was not Viper off top form. Viper looked really good today. He had leads in some of these games, but like overall, Villese was more solid, deserves to get into that final spot. And I don't know what more to say. I mean, in this particular game, Dave, I do think we saw the power of the Turks, right? But we only saw the power of the Turks, and we only saw the power of the Magyars and the Byzantines and all the civilizations that Villese won with today because he played them to near perfection.
Yep.
That was sick. And this might be his best. I know he obviously will want to win, but like this result right here, we'll see what happens later on in the final, might be the best result we've ever seen for Villese in an S-tier tournament.
I think it's going to be. It's already the best. He's already beaten Viper, and he's through to the final.
Yeah, beat MBL, beat Viper through to the final, and might even win that tomorrow. If he plays, or today, sorry. If he plays like this later on today, he could definitely win against anybody.
That's insane, dude. And I think we answered the question, who's better, Bohemians or Turks? And I think against other civs, maybe Turks might struggle, whereas Bohemians would succeed. But as a counter pick, artillery is better than Hoofnitsa. Having the extra range, if you can control, if you're as good as Villese, it is better because we saw him lose a lot less. I want to see the numbers on how many Hoofnitsa Viper lost there. Probably like 30, I would say, and that's a lot.
Too many.
Yeah,
too many. Yeah. What's interesting is if you look at the eco in that game, you can see how little the relics mattered. Obviously, the relics make a difference.
Middle gold control was the big thing.
But it was the middle, the middle gold control. Also, I think getting guilds early, I don't know if Bohemians actually get that, but Villese Research Guild, so when he was selling and the market was drained, he was getting 17 gold per 100 wood. Viper was getting 14. So just small things like that, combined with the micro and the technologies he went for. I also, there were moments in early Castle Age where he was losing a lot of Cav Archers to take the cannons, but now I think you can say it's worth it. It would have been an issue if Viper would have been able to advance much more forward, but he was just stuck in there the whole game. Congrats to him. We'll actually hop in, Dave, to the TTL Discord.
Yep.
There's an interview room. We'll interview Villese here in a moment, all right?
Okay. Thank you guys for all the follows. Thank you for being here. So many people here. Thanks for all the hype in the chat and the subs and whatnot. Really appreciate you guys. Dig big. Thank you for the 12 months, bro. We're going to hop in an interview here, okay? Wow, that was a surprising set. Good shit from Villese. You love to see it.
We're going to try and keep this quick and snappy because we have another semifinal to get to. That semifinal was being played at the same time as this one, so we'll be casting that as Rex. And then we will be doing the final live, and Villese will be there. Villese, hello, my friends. Congratulations.
Hello, thanks.
Man, what are you feeling right now? It's one thing to beat Viper in a semifinal, but Dave and I both felt like Viper was playing at his very best, and you beat him 4-1 here.
Yeah, I think this is my best set ever for sure. Never played this well in my life.
Sick. What were your confidence levels like? Because I think MBL maybe a few more questions over how he played his quarterfinal set. Viper, of course, is the Viper. So going into the series, did you think you could accomplish this?
No, I didn't think I would win this, but I just played my strategies and they worked out fine.
Awesome. Dave, we'll bounce back and forth with a few questions before we let Villese rest.
Villese, how did you feel going into that final game up 3-1 and you had Turks against Bohemians on Arena? What was your win condition there and what were you planning to do? Did it unfold the way that you thought it might?
I think Turks are one of the few teams that can do fine against Bohemians in post-team. I just had to get most of the middle golds and win the relic wars so I can afford my gold units.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it was very stressful to watch. I don't know how stressed you were, but the micro was insane there. Going back to the game prior, before Jungle Swamp, were you expecting Viper to pick something different? And then what was going through your mind throughout that crazy Jungle Swamp game?
Yeah, I kind of thought he would pick a more aggressive civ, but I didn't use the Magyar's early game very well, so that was kind of a mistake by me, losing so many scouts for free. But then, if I get to the late game, the Magyar army composition is just crazy strong.
Yeah, it definitely felt like it was almost unkillable at that stage, the way you'd set up your economy. Well, final question I have, then maybe Dave will have one more. You go into the final later. What's your confidence levels like now? I know you respect your opponents, but before the Viper set, you didn't think you could beat him. You've beaten him 4-1 now. Do you think you can beat anybody at this point?
Yeah, I think I can beat anybody, but will be tough.
Who do
Yeah.
you want to face more, Hera or Vinchester?
I think I've usually had better matchup against Vince, so
Okay.
him.
Okay. So
Well,
rooting
dude-
for Vinchester in the next semi. Congrats, man.
Congrats, man. You looked amazing today, Villese. So I hope you can continue it on to later and have a good break, prepare some more, and good luck in the finals, dude.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Yep.